But my theory was right again.
Wait, which theory?
About Karkaroff, Crockpot.
Crockpot? What was your theory about Crockpot?
I didn't like him, and I thought he was being acting, and he was not good. Yep.
I wrote all of that kind of stuff out. Because Sirius says that, right? He's like, of course he'd be a good actor. In my head, when I read that, I was like, Jenn would love this. She is reading at home going, I am a great predictor. I'm better than you guys at this.
Is that prideful? But I'm loving it.
No, you're so good at it. Own it, girl.
It's my favorite thing to do.
Own it.
Oh, weren't these 2 chapters so good?
They were awesome.
So good.
Loved
and he made
it.
me stop again.
I know. 21. Sorry, but it wasn't like that long. It was like a half a week.
Seriously.
Come on.
Do you know I finished it in on Monday? Like we recorded everyone on Sunday, and then I read everything on Monday, and then I had to wait. So then I redid it.
Ooh, nice.
I almost did it 3 times
Because it's a good chunk of chapters.
because I feel like I missed a little bit. So I was like, I need to go back because you're gonna ask some detailed questions that I'm gonna forget about. That I read it.
These are honestly just so
And
much
this one
fun.
with his notes.
Yeah.
What about?
Margins.
On the last podcast, we talked for a few minutes about Hermione's maturity. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
Like we were talking how Hermione just seems head and shoulders more mature than everyone else. This is why I love our community so much. I love our little subreddit. I love people on YouTube because they're not only dissecting Harry Potter, but they're dissecting what we say, and they're like finding new things about the Harry Potter universe. So
That you didn't know about?
yeah, I had no idea
Wow.
about it.
Mind blown.
But this is, so people were like looking onto other theories about this. Some people have thought about this idea, but not too many, because it's like a less subtle point in the book. You have to actually have a good understanding and grasp of Hermione's maturity when you're reading through these books. And sometimes you could just bypass it of saying, girls are more mature than boys or smarter than boys at this age.
Yeah.
But we were talking about it at this age. But a few of we had a Vadermort, or one of our great subredditors, said
love that
there's,
name.
I know, said this, which to me was fascinating. On the last pod, there was a brief discussion about how mature Hermione is compared to Harry and Ron. Some of this, I'm sure, is because girls just tend to mature quicker than boys. Anyways, I wonder how much of this is due to her time turner use the previous year. We could probably figure out mathematically how many extra hours she lived for the class, but we'll have no idea how much she used the time turner for extra study, rest periods, sleep, etc. So possibly she's actually older. She's like 10 months older than Harry. Just realistically, I think one of our Redditors said.
Yeah.
And she's on top of that. Probably some people were figuring there were guesses all over the place. Some people were figuring like 5 or 6 days because some people have actually done this math outside of our own community. And they just found that. Some people were factoring like 2 or 3 months. Some people were factoring maybe 6 or 7 months. And actually, like, because Hermione's a studier.
So why would she stop? She could just, anytime she wants to study, read another book, do something more.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So some
goodness,
people,
6 or
because
7 months
Hermione,
would be insane.
But here's the only issue with this. And this is a slight debate because no one exactly knows how this works. But she was also petrified for a number of months.
Yep.
And some people think that that's kind of being like frozen in like cryo sleep or something. Where,
no aging.
Yeah, no aging.
So it balanced.
So it balanced out.
Huh.
But isn't that crazy? Our Reddit community
is she
just
still
finding
using
this-
the time turner every once in a while, or she handed that
No,
back in?
she had to hand it in. Yeah. So it was just for a year.
I don't
She handed it
remember
back in because she was too overwhelming for her. So she's not using
Where
it
was
anymore.
that?
McGonagall gave it to her. So she probably handed it back to...
Wait, you say probably, but do we know
in
that?
the book, or you know that because you're Harry Potter?
He knows Hermione personally.
It's in the book, but it's subtly...
It just like slipped in there.
It slipped in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where I think at the end of the book, she said something like, I'm not using this anymore, or I'm handing this back in to McGonagall. I don't want another year like this one. So it was a subtle line that you can probably read and say, you know what, maybe she didn't really hand it in because you don't have the physical evidence of her handing it in.
It was just her intention for a moment was to hand it in.
I missed
So she
that.
And she
still could have
verbalized
that
it
thing.
out loud to keep herself accountable, but
Yes, I'm
no one
sure.
ever followed up. We don't know.
I'm sure she handed it in.
Oh, that's true. She follows.
Yeah,
the
she's
rules.
Hermione.
Yeah.
And if she's working with McGonagall,
You wouldn't have handed it in. I would have.
that's like a double.
Yeah, they're both
McGonagall
very
super strict,
strict.
Hermione super strict. Even if one is feeling emotional at one particular time, they're not going to let that govern them. But I just love our Reddit community because they're coming up with this
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
you're right.
I never thought of that. I like, Mom, Hermione's more mature. There's a few lines in these chapters too, 19 and 20, that show that she's a lot more mature. But I never thought it was because of the time turner or because she's actually like growing older than Harry and Ron.
Because she's then potentially a year older than
Yeah.
Harry, year and a half if we get crazy with it. So,
And
yeah.
the equivalent in American high school is freshman year. And that is really where I think the largest disparity, like 8th grade to freshman year.
Yeah.
Like girls are like a foot taller than guys.
Yeah, so
They're like
true.
thinking
Not
clearer.
true for me.
Yeah.
Me
There's
neither.
a few outliers, but
Both of us.
so I feel like that's kind of
That
where it's
is
hitting. So
very
on top of
interesting.
all that.
So in the movies, do the guys have like high pitched voices in this one? Crackling. Next one.
I think the third one is when they experience the most puberty. This one, they seem to be a bit more
don't-
level headed.
Really? I missed
The
that.
second and the third one, because I think they couldn't film the movies like every year perfectly on the dot. So I think they were 11 when they cast them as their roles,
And then
he's probably like 16, maybe probably not 17, but maybe like 16 ish filming this when he should be 14. So they've outgrown their puberty stage.
nice. I don't know why I asked.
Aren't these chapters so good? These two.
Yep.
Yeah. All I kept thinking was like, I can't wait to see it in the movie too. Like these chapters.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm very curious.
I don't like the rules of this competition, though. So unfair. All haphazard and crazy. Picking a different dragon, but they all have different temperaments. That's not fair. Oh my goodness.
It's so
and the point
unbalanced.
system, I was like yelling at my book.
Oh, well.
Biased, like we talked about.
course.
And if you're going to have biased judges, which is a guarantee, and we saw it happen, at least make the biased ones give their numbers at the same time first,
Yeah.
then the unbiased judges at the end.
Yeah.
But
Or each one shouldn't
Karkaroff
vote for their
literally
own
changing the
house. Like whatever school,
yeah, you
they
have to
shouldn't
like
be allowed to
not
vote.
give numbers for your own house would also
Yeah.
make a lot of sense.
Yeah, seriously, that's the
Yeah.
one you're exempt from.
Yep.
Yeah, and then they can't skew it. Like still can, but like it
Yeah.
wouldn't be as harsh.
They just shouldn't have the school heads be judges. You get 3 or
Yeah.
4 impartial judges and
Right.
you're set. It's ridiculous that Karkaroff is a judge. Anyway, we'll talk about this more.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
Welcome to the podcast. I'm John,
Jen.
Danny?
And Kristen.
and this is Harry Potter and the First Time Readers. As always, give us a rating, give us a review, go follow us on subreddit r/firsttimereaders. We also got a Patreon. We don't really have any content on there, but if you want to support us, that's probably the best way. If you want any merch, bookmarks, or stickers, or that's pretty much all we got right now, but we're looking to make more stuff. Email me at firsttimereaders@gmail.com. But enjoy these chapters 19 and 20 of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. The Hungarian Horntail. We are on the first task, pretty much. The Hungarian Horntail and the first task are these 2 chapters. Someone give me a summary quickly of the Hungarian Horntail.
Dragons are the first challenge. Rita's Daily Prophet article was all about Harry, and it was full of lies. Charlie arrived at Hogwarts. Sirius talked to Harry through the fire. Karkaroff was in Azkaban, we found out. And Ron and Harry are still fighting.
Do you still like Rita Skeeter?
Nope. Now I very much dislike her. I still think her role is important as a journalist, but now I don't even think she's the best journalist. I don't think she's even very good at all. So I very much dislike her. Bending the truth, making things up, manipulating Harry.
I feel like she's like a Today journalist.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways,
in the media today.
Yep.
But
Okay, there's a point to this. She's not a very good nonfiction writer. As far as fiction is concerned, do you actually think that she's making Harry more likable? And maybe this is just a general question for you guys. Do you find Harry likable just by himself as he is right now in these books?
No.
I don't like him that much.
Really?
But that's why I think Rita is a great thing to help us like Harry, because now we can feel bad for him.
Yeah.
But I like him in certain moments, but there are a lot of moments I don't think he's a very good person.
Yeah.
Like, he's not a great friend, and he's just a little bit too, like, self-centered. And
little animal
he doesn't
abuser.
take care of Hedwig. Yeah, I'm just like, oh, Harry.
Animal abuse.
He's got a long way to go before I'm going to, like, be fully psyched on Harry. Yeah.
Jen, you don't like him that much.
I just, he's just like there. I mean, obviously the whole book's about him, but like he's just like, I guess I feel for him too though, because he's basically like an orphan, and like the people that were raising him don't even like him. So how does your personality from like your nurture versus nature thing, like the nurturing he didn't even have,
Right.
basically. So I guess the selfishness is kind of coming from that maybe. But I guess everything just seems like handed to him, kind of like Ron was saying, like you just get everything. And like it's a little annoying because he's also young, doesn't know how to handle it. But I guess that's why it annoys me.
Yeah.
It really is kind of annoying because Harry doesn't want any of this stuff, so I feel for him.
Yeah.
But he just gets everything.
Yeah.
I mean, like that Ron wants. Everything that Ron wants. So he seems like a bad friend to Ron at points. He's definitely not a great friend to Hermione either, I think. I do think he is getting a lot of unfortunate things happen to him, which doesn't kind of excuse some of his behavior, I think. But I feel for him a little bit.
But he did take this as like a champ in a way, because he just got his name thrown in to this Triwizard.
And he did great.
And he just took it. He could have been complaining. He could have been like, no, get me out of here. I want, like, this isn't fair. He just accepted it.
Mm-hmm.
But is that prideful? Like, oh, like.
Yeah, I mean, we
My
don't
name
see
got in there.
too much pride. Like, we don't really see him ever getting
Boasting about
arrogant about it. I don't think. And I had mixed feelings about his like heart, because we've seen some really good stuff out of him in the past with Neville and, you know, facing crazy things. But here I was annoyed when he saw the dragons and didn't resist that like cheating element. And in the end, we found out maybe cheating is expected and it's normal and whatever.
How would he resist the cheating?
Well, like when Hagrid was bringing him to see what it was, he knew what was happening. He could have said, I don't want to see this. I don't need any extra help.
That's what you would have said.
I'm not saying that's what I would have said. To be honest, I would have taken everything I could get.
I thought you wanted no spoilers.
And even with Moody and whatever else, I'm like, Harry keeps saying he's totally fine. Bagman, right before he's about to go in, is like, you want some pointers?
Yeah.
Harry's like, nope, I'm good. I'm like, are you kidding me? If I was Harry, I'd be asking every person I could find about pointers, because all these guys who know what the challenges are, you know, they're just having their fun trying to think like, how would I do it? So if Bagman's going to offer him advice, take it. And if you don't trust Bagman, that's fine. You don't have to do what he suggests.
Yeah.
But at least it would give you more knowledge than you could say, he suggested this. I'm still going to do my firebolt thing. And afterwards, I'm going to go to Moody and say, here's what Bagman suggested. Was he trying to get me killed, or was he trying to help me succeed? But now we're getting into the next chapter. But at least Harry told Cedric.
I know, I thought that was
Because
really
then
nice.
I'm like, all right, you cheated. I didn't like that. Whatever. But at least he then included Cedric because he wanted it to be fair and even. And that felt like a big move. He didn't have to do that. So now I'm like, oh, man, that's cool. Harry is taking some steps in the right direction.
I think he's got attributes to him that are annoying, where you're like, why is he bad friend to these people? Why is he not nice to Hedwig? Why is he like, you know, he seems self-centered in some instances. But there's lines that we get in his head that you find him a little redeemable, and you're hoping those lines come out a little bit more, like the one you mentioned with Cedric, where in Harry's mind it says Harry wouldn't have let his worst enemy face those monsters unprepared.
Yeah.
Well, perhaps Malfoy or Snape. So yeah. And I love those lines because this is like the hope of Harry, and this is like kind of how you want him to come out. And I think this is really the battle that you get. I think this is why he's a relatable character too, because he is prone to mood swings, and he's a high school kid. And one day he's going to wake up feeling great, and the next day he's at war with his best friend, you know, like this is high school. And he's relatable because I think none of us are purely good all the time, or happy all the time, or like great all the time.
Speak for yourself.
Except Jenn.
Definitely not.
But like in those lines that we get of Harry saying like he doesn't want this even for his worst enemy, you're like, yeah, that's the direction that I want to go in. That's a healthier direction for Harry. So he seems like he's a person that can grow into this kind of role. And honestly, Rita Skeeter, terrible journalist as far as the truth is concerned. Great in making him more likable. If I'm reading this article, like just like Mrs. Weasley said, she's like at home crying, like, oh, he still cries about his parents, like bless his heart. Like this makes Harry so much more.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot even about those things.
It makes Harry so much more likable. And I don't think Harry's purpose is to be likable, but that's maybe his flaw. And that he's famous and he wants nothing to do with it. So he doesn't, he like shuts people down that want him to be like, want his autograph, like Colin Creevey thinks he's like a dweeb.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, Harry, you're like famous and you don't want to be famous, but at least have patience to temper these people. And yes, Rita's not telling the truth, but she's doing a good job of making him a little bit more likable.
Yeah, that's actually true. And even though she exaggerated things about Harry, she wasn't like completely off base. It kind of, I mean, Harry's maybe not crying physical tears every night, but he's thinking about his parents all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And in subtle ways, he might not even realize he's still like working to, I don't know, not get revenge is too harsh, but at least like get some closure on things with his parents.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. That wasn't actually that harsh. I'm trying to think of what lies she told in her article.
I feel like she just exaggerates things.
Yeah.
It's not. Well, is that a lie?
Oh,
Maybe
the
it
thing
is.
with Hermione, that's what got me mad.
Oh,
Yeah.
but if you were an outsider and you're watching it, you could think that they're always together.
Yeah.
So
And yeah, for sure. It's a good observation. And she even speaks highly of Hermione. Says a beautiful, someone calls her a beautiful fourth year girl or something like that. I'm sure Hermione feels great by that. 'Cause she probably has never been called that at freaking Hogwarts ever. Like Ron and Harry, I'm like, okay, your best friend's a girl. I call her beautiful every once in a while in like a friendship way, you know?
how does
And
that
they don't
work?
get that. What?
Nah, I'm just kidding.
So Hermione probably feels great by this. I kind of
What
love
page
that.
is that on?
315.
Yep.
Although, yes, she is stretching the truth here.
But you're right. It's odd that she's actually making Harry look way better. And even talking about them like the top students in school, which Harry clearly isn't, but Hermione is. Well, maybe Harry is in his own way, but not in grades.
Yeah. Like,
Oh, man.
I had a professor in school who she wasn't deep into journalism, but she had done journalism before. She was like an author. She had mainly written nonfiction books. And one of the things that she told us it's always stuck with me, in an interview, if you're doing any like deep dive on a person or an interview, or if you're doing any kind of profile on a person, your number one job is to make that person look as good as possible. Unless it's a clear thing where you're like, this person needs to be exposed. If it's like investigative journalism, or like if you're doing a profile. So we had to do profiles on people, and I had to do a profile on some guy, and my job was literally just to make him look as good as possible. Like you're writing this and like you're explaining that this person's brilliant, this person's cool, and that's what a lot of profilers do, and that's why they're really enamoring to read, because you're like, this person is like, you know, a god. Like how can they be this cool or this great? And she's doing a good job of that, I think.
She really is, yeah.
Although everything is stretched it's like not the truth, which is where the issues come in.
And because I don't like her, I feel like she's doing it for her own selfish gain, not for Harry.
Yes.
And I feel like she's setting up, as we saw at the end of chapter 20, like for more stories. So it almost feels like she's trying to set Harry up so she can knock him down.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like now getting weird vibes. I'm like cautiously like, oh, I do not like her, because if she's willing to lie for the good things, she'd be willing to lie for the bad things.
Yep.
And I'm afraid she will do more bad later. I also don't like that she misspelled the names of the other champions.
Yeah.
Didn't even mention Cedric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really not an article about the Triwizard Tournament at all.
Yeah.
Which feels kind of lame, because that's good content. Write that article.
I know.
Yeah.
She just needs to do 2 different articles. One, do a profile on Harry.
Yep.
Because what she's writing to me, if I am a reader and I've known about Harry Potter my entire life and I know he's at Hogwarts, if I'm a wizard, that is, I don't care about it. Like the Triwizard Tournament is fascinating to me, but that is by far the more important story, more interesting story. It's a person who's never had a profile written about them in their life, and he's at school and he's aging up, and you're like, who is this person? This is so fascinating to read and learn about. I would read that article in a heartbeat.
But it's like the one chance someone's getting to like interview Harry Potter. Everyone knows of him, but this is like she's
Maybe
probably
Dumbledore's
like
been blocking her out for a while.
Yeah.
And this was her only excuse to get in, the Triwizard Tournament. But if she was coming in just to interview Harry, she wouldn't have been allowed.
right.
Speculation, but maybe.
Well, she threw away that pen really quick when she saw Dumbledore.
Right.
The quick
Yep.
quill, something.
Yeah.
Yeah, the quick quotes quill.
Quick. That's a really neat pen, though. I would love that.
It's so nice.
Even if it doesn't
make me
misspell
write
people's
better.
names.
Yeah,
No.
for sure. I want that in
but
my
even
life.
like all those thoughts in your head.
Like actually, like
Yep.
words to these thoughts would be great.
Coherent.
I think we even talked about that early on. That
What?
would be a cool thing to have when we were talking about the journal.
I think so.
Well, yeah, because he kept
yeah.
asking us about quills. I wonder why.
I'm telling you, if you re-listen to the pod, I'm kind of proud of myself for some little things that I threw in there.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, good.
It's been fun to like sneak certain things in. Just hear your thoughts about like,
You
one or
have
two things
asked
in
like
random. And
random things. And I'm like, it's going to come up, and then I forget, and then it comes
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I remember. He asked about if it'd be cool to have a pen that writes for you one of those days. It's fun. Anyway, there's a line in this where Ron and Harry are still at war with each other, and Harry goes to Hermione. I didn't start this, Harry said stubbornly. It's his problem. And Hermione cuts through all of that, doesn't care about anything that he says there, and goes, you miss him, Hermione said impatiently. And I know he misses you. I love that so much. So much. So maybe this is going to be a little different of a question. But who is a friend in your life that you really, really miss? You don't have to like say a name or anything like that. But is there someone, let's do an ode to friends we miss right now. Is there someone that you're like, I really miss having their friendship? Even if it's like someone in kindergarten that you met, you're like, oh, I miss, playing with them in kindergarten. I'll start. I have a friend in Dallas, and he's married, and I haven't talked to him for a while now, and I really, really miss. We hung out all the time, and I lived in Dallas, and it was great. We're best friends. I was best man at his wedding. I haven't talked to him in a little while. I want to reconnect. I'm going to write him a letter because he was the one that taught me calligraphy. He got me into it, and he was phenomenal at it. So good at it. And
This would be the perfect time.
I got to write him a letter.
Yeah.
Calligraphed letter.
Love that. Yeah. My best friend from college, I was her maid of honor.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I miss her. Same. It's been a little while.
Yeah. It's sad how things
Her and her
drift
husband
apart.
have a baby girl that I never got to meet because they're down in Florida. But yeah.
Distance.
know.
I know. It stinks.
2 friends. A tale of 2 Trevors. The first is a Trevor that I met when I was at summer camp, when I was in like 2nd grade, first year summer camp, scared to leave home. And my grandma dropped me off, and this random kid I sat next to and talked while I was getting registered. And then he was put in my cabin, and then he puts his arm around me and says, oh, don't worry, Grammy. If he gets homesick, I'll take care of him.
Oh,
gosh.
And then we were friends all week, and it was great.
Dude, I love
Ron and
that.
Harry situation.
And then
Really
at the end of that week, off we go. Never to see Trevor again. Yep. But I will always remember him.
Trevor, if you did that at
Yep.
camp
You're
20 something years ago, and you're
Yeah.
listening to this podcast.
You are missed.
Yeah. We
And then my other friend Trevor,
Right,
moved
Reddit world,
away.
let's find
Classic. But, Yep.
Oh.
I'm struggling with friends. I can go on a whole other tangent. It's a little different than maybe not.
Yeah. Go on any tangent that you want.
Yeah,
Take any
for
direction
sure.
you want with this.
Well, we're talking about like missing friendships, and it's interesting because I miss a friendship that changed. Like I missed how it was, and then
Yeah.
it changed, and now it's really hard to get back to that. So like I miss what it was,
Yeah.
and maybe can get back to it someday in the future.
Which is probably more of what Harry's experiencing too.
Yeah.
Like Ron's around, but he misses the way it was.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people's personalities shift and change, and you don't see eye to eye on things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But Harry and Ron having a rough go at it. What do you think of their whole dynamic?
They're both being stubborn.
But I get it.
Good thing Hermione's
know.
around.
Yeah.
I just don't like that it's conditional. Whenever you go into like a thing like that where there's the condition, Harry says he would only talk to Ron again if Ron admitted that Harry hadn't put his name in. But then if Ron has a similar condition, they'll never be friends again.
Yep.
And that's kind of lame. Like something's got to give. So I'm glad they ignored all that in the end.
Yeah.
That was good.
They're not walking a mile on each other's shoes. They're not getting in each other's perspectives.
True. But if you're Ron and you're seeing all this stuff,
Yes.
I kind of relate in a way to that, because it's like one more thing. And then, yeah, right. Like you didn't put your name in. I don't know. I think it's just like it was a pile up of all this previous situations that added up, and then having his name appear was just like, that's it. Like I can't.
It's the final straw that broke his back.
In a way, yeah. So no matter what he was saying, it was just too much. So
I'm with you on that. I'm not like on a team, but I'm Team Ron here.
On a team, but
I just feel really bad for him. I know that he is frustrated at this moment. I don't like how Ron handled it with when Harry was awarded the role of champion, that he was just like lingering up in the bedroom, like with a goofy little smile on his face, and he was just weird at that moment. I'm like, Ron, sit down and have a conversation with him. And if you're still frustrated that you feel like Harry's not telling you the truth, then you got to work that out yourself, or maybe then you can be mad at him and try to figure things out. But I do understand more of Ron's perspective here maybe than Harry's. I do understand Harry's too, I think, but Ron, where people are even saying this in the chat, Ron has the one thing that Harry wants most, which is a family. And so Harry wants that. Harry wants what Ron has, but Ron wants exactly what Harry has. And Harry just keeps getting it and keeps getting it. And Harry feels differently toward Ron, but Ron is it's just eating away at him, because every single place he goes to, he's the best friend of the kid who has everything that he wants. And I guess it's the same for Harry too, but
It just feels like Harry is getting some of Ron's family.
yeah.
But I'm not so sure Ron's getting any of the Harry glory.
yeah, for sure. Spread some of that glory around. Spread some of your
Yeah.
riches around, Harry. That's all.
Well, at
we're
least
asking.
the riches, yeah. Well, Ron is getting some of the glory. He did the chess game.
Yeah.
He defeated a mountain troll.
Yeah. But
I mean,
here's the
that's
thing.
something.
Ron didn't get a ton of glory for that. He got 50
You're
points,
right.
and Dumbledore just said, for the best game of chess that Hogwarts has ever seen. And Ron's going, I freaking took part in defeating Voldemort, and you're just saying I have a good chess game? What are you kidding me, Dumbledore?
yeah,
Come on,
right,
give me a little more glory than that.
he almost died too.
Yeah,
Right,
honestly,
right.
come on. Okay, Harry goes and checks out all of the dragons at this moment too, and do you think that anybody his invisibility cloak just seems a little bit different, a little bit special, more special than other things? Like we see that Moody can see through it, but do you think anybody else at the castle has a cloak like this? Do you think maybe Moody has a cloak an invisibility cloak. Do you think anybody else could have an invisibility cloak? And what do you think of Harry's?
I'm sure that there are more than one. And because if Moody's seen it before, then it's not just Harry that has it. Moody probably has one too, maybe, because he has the time turn. No, he had the larger scale.
The sneakoscope?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So he's got gadgets.
He probably needs them to defeat
gizmos
the dark
aplenty.
wizards, no?
And his gadgets have a 1 mile radius.
Or
Remember they
less
said that in the book?
than.
Yeah. So the thing kept spinning because it has a
Super
1 mile
sensitive.
radius.
It literally said that?
Completely unhelpful, which is hilarious.
If he's in the middle of the wilderness with no one else around him at all for a mile, then it works. Then he knows there's someone like weird within a mile, but right there, it's not going to work at all.
Oh, goodness. I feel like Ron was very impressed by the invisibility cloak. And the Weasleys in general, it makes it feel like he maybe has not seen one before. So to grow up in the Weasley household and not have seen one, bring your kid to work day at the ministry, you know, like it feels like you would have been exposed to a lot of things. Can you even buy these at stores? You know, Diagon Alley, the firebolt is sitting in a window.
Yeah.
But there aren't invisibility cloaks, regardless of how much money. It seems at least like that's the case. So I just can't gauge how common they are. Like maybe people do have them, but you just don't bring them around.
This to me,
I don't know.
It seems like the good version of Borgin and Burke's. Remember when we went in Borgin and Burke's in the second year?
Yep.
And there's
that the scary
all
place?
there's all sorts of weird artifacts in there. Like the Hand of Glory was in there that gives light only to the one person that's holding it. Like that seems a little dark. You can do weird things with that, but the invisibility cloak has like more purity to it, in my opinion. I feel like there should be a good store, a good version of Borgin and Burke's.
Yep.
And like you're selling really rare things like an invisibility cloak that like it's way outside everyone's price range, way outside. But this maybe has been passed down in Harry's family, and it just seems
what I was
rare.
trying to see.
Yeah.
How did he? I know he got it from his dad. His dad had it, but
we don't even know how his dad got it. Or
Yeah.
did he make it? You know, like they made the map.
yeah.
I don't know. But the fact that it's not perfect and someone like Moody with an eye could see through it makes me think it's very useful at a lower level. But once you get to a certain level of wizarding, it maybe doesn't matter as much. Like, I would even think people like Dumbledore or Snape, like he was sneaking by Snape in the hallway. I can't remember if that was the book or just the movie. Because Snape and Quirrell were talking and he was nearby. I would think maybe by default Snape couldn't see him. But if Snape knew that someone was there with an invisibility cloak, he could have done something and said,
Yeah.
you know, show me who's here
Yeah.
hiding.
Yeah.
Revelio or something, you know.
Yeah, so I feel like there could have been something, and so an invisibility.
What are you guys making fun of my?
I just love that on demand. You know exactly. Yeah, that would be Rebellion.
I'm kind of making it up. It's definitely kind of in the book too.
Oh,
Revelio.
you're
has his own
making things up. All right, chat people, please make
There's-
sure that
there is
these spells he's saying are correct.
Yeah.
There's
nice.
hilarious. Instead of Borgin and Burke's, Calvin says Billy and Bob's. That'd be such a good PG name for like a good unique item store.
Billy and Babs.
But what you were talking about, like, I feel like it's maybe a little more common than we think, possibly because
That's a good way to say it.
a lot of people they're somewhat aware, like, who's there, like that there is there is such a thing as an invisibility cloak, because Snape has said it, like he was what's around here, and then Karkaroff, he was asking who's there, but maybe that's not.
Oh,
so
right,
maybe
like
it
when
was
they
too
hit
dark
each other,
out.
yeah.
So now I'm retracting that, but like
No,
he was
but you're right.
outside.
Well, even when other people have seen it, like I don't remember if other people have picked it up. No, I'm thinking of the map that Snape picked up when he went into the Shrieking Shack. But it feels like people are wowed by it a little bit, but not in a crazy way. Or maybe I'm just not used to it because Harry isn't taking good care of it. He's not treating it like it's a one-of-a-kind item.
Yeah,
you know
for
what
sure.
I mean?
That's true.
And I'm picturing it as a real cloak, like it could rip or tear or get dirty. And then it might lose some of that. And if that's true, then Harry really should be more careful with it.
Because it'll show some things.
And even just the fact that Harry got it and was trusted with it at such a young age seems to indicate that it's not the most valuable thing, like the only invisibility cloak ever made. Otherwise, I don't think it would have been gifted to him so young.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But it's like the closest like article to his dad.
True.
At Hogwarts, so maybe no matter what, they would have given it to him. Here's a part of your dad.
Yeah.
And it is very creepy that Moody can see through this with his eye.
Yeah.
I want to know how magical his eye is. Like that is.
I know.
And then if it was that, gouge my own eye out and get one of those things.
Oh my goodness.
It's all extreme.
Yeah, that is a little
kinda-
extreme for sure.
But like,
You know?
Yeah, forehead,
Why limit yourself?
little
Look
cyclops,
at you, a whole crown of
little
eyes.
triclops. What were you saying, Jen? Do you remember?
that was better than what I was gonna say. No, I was just curious, like who. I wonder if we find out like how his eye was created. Did he create it? Did someone else create it and he gets to use it? Like I don't. I find that interesting. That means yes, we're gonna find out. Trying to
I
pick
say
up anything.
at everything you
I
guys
know,
say,
I
so
know,
don't
I know.
worry.
I'm playing detective.
The school, this frustrates me a lot. The school said this tournament was going to be safe, that no students were going to die. I don't care how many people they have that are on the ready for a spell to defend them. They are getting dragons, and they're not only getting dragons, they are getting nesting mothers.
I know, the most dangerous, probably,
Yes.
right?
It's like
That
a
made me
mother
so
bear.
mad. Yeah.
It made no
And that's
sense.
their first task.
Right. Right.
Yeah. And they didn't know about it. They're not supposed to know about it. Imagine
Right.
you're at the first task. Literally, you're in this tent and you don't know what's on the other side, and you pull out and it's a dragon, and you have to be ready to defeat. Yeah. I'm not doing this. I don't care what you say. I'm not going to get destroyed by a dragon.
Oh yeah, because the surprise factor would make you blank. Like
Yeah.
you wouldn't even be able
Yep.
to think of your
Right.
spells to use, right?
And how could they protect against that? They clearly didn't do a good enough job. Harry got scraped, and so what? Like a foot difference? How would they have detected that?
Half a Cedric's face is like burned
Yep.
off right now. Poor guy.
So all of those things, I'm like, where was their line? They're like, well, if his heart stops, then we'll interfere and try and
I
bring
know.
him back. Like it just felt so ridiculous.
Yeah.
And risking dragon eggs,
Yes.
which are supposedly so valuable, and then some end up getting destroyed.
I know,
Right?
But I'm
Such
a
not
waste.
surprised Crumb did that.
Ooh.
He did something like evil and
Oh my.
dangerous, or not dangerous, but like harmful, hurtful. Went around the rules, bent the rules. Not supposed to harm anything. Just supposed to
yeah.
get the egg.
And he got points taken off for it.
So I just was like, oh, I'm not surprised that you came from that school and you did what you did and you wanted to hurt the dragon instead of getting
Yeah.
around it
Yeah.
to get the egg.
Fascinating. I love your guys' takes on this. That is
kinda
so
like
interesting.
Crumb, though.
Why?
I don't even know why, but turning down mulled wine meant something to me. And I have no clue why.
Because he's an alcoholic?
And he's spending time in the library. No, he turned it down.
I know, because he's a recovering
Oh, he's
alcoholic.
recovering. Well, that's fine too. Then full support. Stay strong, Crumb. Like,
Crumb is a recovering alcoholic. That is glorious. That is so funny.
It does feel to me like I haven't seen anything that I don't like out of Crumb. He's on my list of suspects, don't get me wrong. But like, I'm blaming Karkaroff, not Crumb. And all this time in the library could be mischievous in a bad way.
Yeah.
Or he could be genuinely trying to like solve something. Like maybe there's knowledge in that library, like good magic that they don't teach because they only teach dark magic up at Durmstrang. So now he's like, oh, wow, cool. A chance to actually learn some of this good stuff. I love herbology and I can't learn any of that up there. I'm kind of feeling for him a little bit.
Interesting.
I'm waiting. If he does anything, I'm ready to be like, he's evil too. But as of right now, he just has a rough looking face and that's fine.
And then he hurt the dragon to get by. But I guess maybe
Dragon's
anyone
trying
would
to
do
hurt
that.
Accidentally.
And yeah, I took
He
that as an
went for the
accident.
eye so that way the dragon wouldn't see him and he went to get the egg, so I'm not sure that was an accident.
I'll have to look again at what he did. He went for the eye.
He threw
He cast a spell that hit him directly in the eye. What do you think that spell was?
I don't know. You
That makes a
tell
big
me.
difference.
You know all the spells.
If he's blinding a dragon for life, then nah, I'm not into it.
Yeah.
But if he's, just putting a fog up there for a second.
I don't remember any of the spells, so I can't even tell you.
And it's survival at a certain point.
Yeah.
Ugh,
I do.
I go back and forth.
Yeah, Crumb's interesting.
Yeah, but everyone else did a distraction. And then Harry flew.
Okay,
But maybe that's all he knows since they're taught.
That's what I was
this
thinking.
is
too.
the next chapter,
That's
so we're
just
still
his
talking about the next
instinct.
chapter. Well, let's talk about the
Because it's so
distraction
good.
for a second. The distraction, to me, out of everyone who competed, Cedric needs to be investigated. You transfigure a rock into a Labrador Retriever,
Yeah.
and you'll have the Labrador run in the opposite direction so the dragon can go devour this Labrador. I'm like, yeah, it's a transfigured rock for sure. But does this thing have a soul?
That's that's the question, right?
Because if you're doing that, you are literally sacrificing one being, one creature, so you can compete in this tournament and go free. Whereas, okay, yeah, this is a dragon, but you hit him in the eye with a spell, like a well-timed spell. Like it gives the dragon like some eye infection, and then you can go and get the egg.
Yeah, and then she stepped on all her eggs, all her
No, it's
babies.
true, for sure. But maybe he didn't mean it. But to me, Cedric sending off this, like, I have a dog and he's just laying right by you, so
That's
maybe I'm
why
just
you're
more
hooked
sensitive.
on that.
I couldn't imagine transfiguring a rock into a dog and letting this.
Yeah, but maybe he just transformed it back to a rock before he
Yeah, it's
devoured
true.
it. And then there you go.
Well, that's what I don't fully understand about things that are being transfigured, because
Yeah.
I mean, rats can be teacups, and like even the chocolate
still
frogs
don't get-
can act like real frogs, but they're not real frogs.
Yeah.
And the magic runs out. So I feel like we've seen that a few times where the trinkets at the World Cup, they run out of magic. And the frogs run out of magic. So would this dog rock turn back into a rock after like 30 seconds? Was it just like a brief like
I hope so.
That's what I
that's
was
what I have to
picturing.
assume because I like Cedric. I hope he's not, well, that'd be awesome actually. You could just create a dog. Man,
Yeah.
dog care would be so much easier.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Transfigure that rock into a dog, poops, make it go away. You probably do a little spell, shave the dog, easy peasy. You don't need a groomer, you don't need a pooper scooper.
For the dog, for all that kind of stuff, let's save that for in a little bit because we'll get to that.
Nice,
Because that's the
yeah.
next chapter too. I have a few more questions for 19 that I want to talk about. And just on a personal question, on a personal note, do you guys think you would be more happy or more stressed that you saw the dragons before the task? Like, would you be glad to have that time to
Yeah.
prepare?
Yeah.
I would be
Or
glad.
Probably.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm the same,
I like
especially with
knowing.
dragons.
Yeah.
Especially with dragons.
It would be stressful, don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
like worth it. The more information, the better.
Right, 'cause
You're
then
going to
you
be
can, like, come
stressed
to
no matter
terms with
what.
it.
Yeah, like you got to face this. There's no avoiding it. So might as well learn the info ahead of time.
Yeah. I always need a little prep work.
Because what would he
Yeah.
have done if he did not plan ahead?
Yeah.
He would have just died.
Right.
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean?
Right.
There we go.
Patronus, go
Immediate-
fight the thing. Like what's?
I did think about that.
I don't know if
Can
that's
you
how it
have
works.
your
Maybe.
Patronus?
He could have maybe come up with something, but I don't know what. Could he have used his invisibility cloak? Or
Yeah,
would that be against the rules?
Oh.
Did they say that? Because he could have at least brought it. That would have been kind of funny. Then he just gets over to the, footprints in the sand or something, but then he grabs the egg.
would have had
goes
some
away,
in it,
whips
no?
off. Well,
would've-
he couldn't bring it in his pocket. Like, they're all wearing their robes, carrying
Yeah.
their wands, but is that a rule? Like,
I feel
that's
like
all you can bring?
cheating even more. I thought you were against cheating.
I don't think it's cheating. That's what I'm asking. Like, if there's a rule, then it's cheating. If there's no rule, then Harry should have that on.
Did they never went over any rules, did they?
No.
What were
The
the
only
rules?
rules we've heard about this whole thing is Harry's not allowed to enter because he's too young.
And
here
then
we are.
there's a contract and you have to finish.
yeah, then there's
so-
a magical contract.
And that
you
is
have
it.
to do this.
So what are the rules? You
And
can only
even-
have your wand. That's one rule.
Yeah.
But he's
Right.
allowed to summon, like, if he can summon that, he can summon anything.
But why
right?
isn't everyone
But what else would
summoning
you summon
things?
to
Just
defeat?
the only thing I could think is the invisibility cloak.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you
But,
just
like-
summon the egg toward you?
And yeah, right. But I was like, can you
Oh.
only summon things
Why
you've ever
not?
touched
Why wouldn't they have
before
done
or
that?
held or like?
Maybe Sirius would have said that.
Oh, maybe.
Do you think that there are some things that you can't summon?
I would say the eggs might be resistant to it because they're dragon eggs.
It's a gold egg that wasn't a dragon egg. That was
Oh,
in
good point.
dragon eggs.
Do you think there's like an anti-summoning spell?
Well, maybe for this championship thing.
And even on that, do you think like the cloak idea is an interesting one. I actually had one of my questions was, and what other way would you try to defeat this dragon? And the cloak is one of those that people think about all the time, but maybe there's a point where you cannot summon an object that is really rare. This is why maybe Harry's cloak is rare, because if it was just any old cloak, maybe you can summon it. But why didn't Harry think of summoning his invisibility?
It's one of the
cloak?
only things he had.
Yeah.
But Harry's not going to think of anything because he didn't even think on his own to summon the firebolt.
I know, yeah. But then like Moody saw him in the invisibility cloak when he was in the
Is that
three
before
broomsticks.
or after?
Before. Remember Hermione was like talking in Hogsmeade with him, and then Hagrid and Moody came over, and Moody goes, "Nice cloak, Potter." Moody maybe at that moment, rather than say you're a good flyer, been like, "Dude, you have an invisibility cloak.
Oh yeah.
Go summon this thing, throw it on." But if I'm Harry, I don't want everyone to see this either.
True.
So there's a point to it where like like
And maybe
if
Moody
everyone
was
in school
thinking that
knows I have an
too, like,
invisibility cloak.
That's probably
How
good
did
for
you
him
know
to
about
protect
that?
him.
Yeah,
right?
agreed.
Yeah. Also, I was thinking, isn't this championship to get points for your skills? So like, putting on a cloak and walking to get the egg is not really a skill.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Although it seems like Harry's in survival mode. Maybe he doesn't even care about points. But it'd be nice to win. Get that money.
Yeah, for real. 1,000
you're
galleon
in it.
prize.
Yeah, well, if you're trying to survive, you might as well thrive.
Now you're competitive, huh?
Nice little saying there.
I also thought I can get a little more behind Hermione's house elf thing, where she said she wants decent wages and working conditions. And I like that they were trying to get to the kitchens, because that's what we were talking about a few weeks ago. It's like, just go and talk to them. But I feel like wages and working conditions, that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
She's not trying to set them free or make them like live off in the woods. If they want to do that, they can. That's something I can get behind. Give me that badge. I'll join.
Yeah, for sure. I'm okay with that one. Do you guys have any other ideas when you see the idea of the dragons and you have to get past the dragon? You don't have to necessarily fight the dragon, but as far as your magical knowledge is concerned, like we talked about the cockatrice, how would you actually get past this dragon? And did you knew they were gonna fight a dragon, right? You've seen the movie, Jen?
No.
You haven't?
No.
You haven't seen this one?
No.
Because your suggestion with the cockatrice is get the firebolt and fly on a broomstick.
Wait, what?
To defeat the cockatrice, John asked us in
Like, what would
last
you do?
podcast.
ago.
Remember that cockatrice is a rooster dragon?
Oh, I was like, I keep hearing Kakarot when you're saying that, so I was like, I don't know what you're saying.
That's the next task. The next task, you have to get past Karkaroff with his little goatee. That little thing.
Wait, I said that? Look at me. I'm just directly in line.
It was funny because you said that and people were commenting on the thing. They were like, does Jen know this story? And I was like, I think she's seen this movie because it was dead on. And I was like, what's that?
No, I honestly have never seen this movie, so that's why I'm excited to see it, because I've never seen it, and I don't know what happens at all in this book. So, yeah.
Did you know that he was going to fight a dragon? Man.
No, but because of Charlie, when we were discussing that, Charlie's going to be seen again, then I was like, oh, I'm sure there's going to be a dragon.
And there's a dragon on the cover.
No, there isn't.
There's a dragon on my cover.
Not the cover?
Yeah, on my
right,
other
right there. Look,
edition
turn it
there.
over.
This?
I haven't even looked. Yeah, right there. And now to flip it over.
Oh, on the back.
That's not a dragon.
That's not
like
the wing of a dragon?
No, that looks like some insect with wings. That's what I thought it was.
All right, well, I'm only seeing it from here. I haven't looked at my own cover. From here, it looks like a dragon. I want to see.
Oh my gosh. And then once you say dragon, it could look like a mouth of a dragon.
There's a dragon on the Jim K cover.
Honestly,
and the Jim K cover, he's fighting a dragon. And I put that right here during one of the live streams. And I realized that halfway through. And I'm like, oh, crap. I was like, I hope Danny and Jen don't look at this. But you guys
Well, I wanted to
it.
bring my new edition. You know my pretty ones?
Yeah.
Dragon on
Got a dragon on the cover.
Wow. And that's why I think
Don't
even
bring
the
it at the
art
end.
at the beginning of the chapters, it's like all of this stuff is for the people who have read it, seen the movies, and want like another version. So I totally get it.
This is not for the first time reader,
Yeah.
for sure.
No,
but it's good for investigative Jen over here.
Oh gosh, I didn't think this was a dragon at all. I thought it was like a plant with, I don't know, what are those
Wing
like?
was from an insect.
Yeah.
It
It's
looks
a pretty big insect.
no, but look at right next to it. How is that a dragon? Pass it around.
What's next to it?
All right, I'll embrace it. Let me see
like-
what else we got.
That was
It
just so
honestly-
funny to me.
Goblet,
that you
blue
said
fire.
that you would get past
That does look like a little insecty looking
broom.
thing. We got some
Riding a
weird
broom.
eyes.
I was like,
No, that looks
What?
like a bird.
Oh, there we go.
Antenna. I don't know what it is.
It doesn't look like a dragon. That's all I can
And,
say. So no, I didn't know there was a dragon coming up.
Oh yeah, we do. Have
I'm very in tune with Harry, I guess. I don't know.
how else would you guys get
Harry's
past the
literally
dragon?
holding the egg in.
Yeah, I know.
I
Yeah, and like the full,
Oh yeah,
full
what's
cover.
that thing behind the
But
window?
honestly, you don't know when you're looking at it what it is until
Yeah.
after you read it, and then like,
Agreed.
Which is
oh,
fair
it's
enough.
that.
Yeah.
That's like a separate entity, right?
Yeah.
So to
behind
me,
it, yeah.
but to me, it looks like an insect with its wing covering its face.
Oh, okay.
So I
So
I
is that
thought it
another
was like
task?
a,
Have a dragon slash ant.
Insect dragon.
and then it looks like an insect or like a plant or like some kind of entity, not a dragon here on the mouth.
Yeah, for sure.
And I didn't know that that was an egg. Still, I thought it was
Yeah.
a goblet of fire, some kind of fire
okay.
thing.
I didn't think the goblet would be so small.
Where's the goblet?
On the front, isn't that with
Oh,
the
in
blue
the back.
flames? No, on the front.
No, this
Oh,
is
is
the
that-
back.
yeah, I'm like, is that the goblet? Is that someone's hand around it? It looks like the thing.
No, the front. No, this is not the front. Yes.
So yeah, it's so tiny. I think I pictured it like the Stanley Cup, like
it's a
human
massive
sized,
thing. Yeah,
gigantic,
absolutely.
You
like.
guys make me so happy with your hockey reference.
We mentioned the Stanley Cup a few times for this one.
Yeah, but then a lot of magic skills would have to go in a big cup. Like
I guess
maybe
yeah.
you don't need, for high magic. I don't know what I'm trying
And maybe
to
it had to be carved
Maybe
out of
even
something
smaller.
magical, like a magic material. So smaller is better, easier.
say. Yeah.
But not a lot of names would fit in that. That's what I was thinking.
But that just dissolves, doesn't it?
I guess. I don't know. I don't know how it works. But like, I'm picturing if each of the people we know submitted the names, assuming Durmstrang all did, and Beauxbatons all put their names in. That's like 24 names right there, and then plus a bunch. That's a lot of crumpled paper in a tiny little thing.
The only thing, okay, so if we're going on that
that's
theory, then
magic.
we asked Harry to write his name out and the school, and then they would see it doesn't match his handwriting.
Yeah, but anyone could use
Yeah.
a quill that writes for you.
Quick quotes, Quill.
And then like Harry could have used it and whatever. Don't get me wrong, I agree. They should have done some more investigation on
All right,
that.
next topic.
Or
I'm
could
over
you
it.
imagine? Could you imagine if they pull Harry's name out and they unfold the piece of paper and it's like magazine letters, like a serial killer
like
thing? It's like
kidnapped
kidnapped
letters, just like
Harry Potter
glued on
Hogwarts, and it's just like they super glued everything on there. Or you could just like write with your left hand if you're trying to really disguise your handwriting.
I guess in my mind, they put their name in and dissolved, and only the correct, the chosen people came up on
makes
parchment.
sense.
But I didn't even think it was their handwriting. I don't know why, even though that's how they submitted it.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if Madame Maxime actually has a crush, or if she is manipulating Hagrid
Using
only.
Hagrid? Oh,
I like to think it's real.
That would be nice.
Even though a part of her might want to cheat and get the inside scoop and might have been using Hagrid for that. She was fluttering her long black eyelashes. There is hope here.
because well, I mean,
You got. Well, she's
wondering like what other people are her size.
Yeah.
It's a small
Like,
build. Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
France, I don't know. They're usually like this big, so
He's
Hagrid
in the wrong
is-
country.
Oh man.
Yep.
And I have to admit, this entire time I've been reading her name as Maxine.
Maxine.
And in my head, I was making fun of you when you said Maxine last week. I was like,
Oh, you don't even know how to read.
and I was reading and I was like, oh,
You're like, crap, he was right.
well.
I wouldn't know.
Usually I'm on the wrong side of that because when you listen to it, you hear it said like the right way.
Yeah.
And then I'll hear you say something and I'm like, oh yeah. So when we listened to that chapter last week and I was like, okay, yep, I'm getting it.
There's a funny note in this. No one up until this point, because the audiobooks weren't really made yet, knew how to say Hermione's name.
Yep.
gosh.
So later on in this book, she essentially spells out how to say her name to someone.
Wow.
Oh,
It's really
Really?
funny. So we'll get there when we get there. But it's like people are like, JK only did that because she wanted people to know how to say Hermione the right way.
I love that.
Did you read it correctly from the get-go?
I guess I was like Hermione. Hermione. Yeah, Hermione. That was probably like the first one that I was doing. But when I initially read it, it was probably the fifth book had just come out. So I started reading when the fifth book came out. So I already knew how to say it. So it wasn't like I started from the inception of Harry Potter. I still remember the inception of Harry Potter, like going to soccer practice. And one of them, not this Dan, but another Dan that was on my soccer team was like, you got to read the Harry Potter series. It's so good. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to read it.
Too cool.
Too cool for that. He's like, wow. He's like, it's a great series. Like, it's so good. So I still remember experiencing that when I was like in fourth grade or something like that. And the books had just come out. But after that, all the books had come out, and I started my journey when she had just published the fifth book. And so I read the first one, caught up with the fifth one, then she had just published the sixth one. So then I got caught up and read the sixth one, and I had to wait agonizingly long for the seventh. Oh,
I can't imagine, because I can't wait a couple days.
Yeah.
This is like a year, right?
Yeah. We still haven't answered this one. How would you guys get past the dragon with all the magic that you know?
If I had time to research like Harry did, that would have helped. I would have talked to Fred and George, because one of the first things I thought of was they've got a way with magic. They're good. So I would have consulted people. It's the only way. But I'm fascinated by the candy. So they've got candy to make things large. I'm like, good. Ooh. I want them to develop something that I could feed to the dragon. So there was something, not lemon drops, some candy. You
can bring something?
Well, again, we don't know the rules, but I think so.
Yeah.
Either we can summon it or keep it in your pocket.
The dragon into like a pocket-sized dragon.
Right? And then there's the age thing. Like, there are a lot of things you can consume that change things. So you get a dragon-sized clump of candy that, throw at the dragon or whatever, hope he eats it. I don't know how you could do all that, but we saw that there's the one candy that levitates people and the candy that makes you sound like other animals. And then there's the candy that, humans eat and makes their limbs gigantic. So I would just ask the Weasleys to develop a dragon candy for the occasion. And honestly, I'd want a whole tool belt of those candies for various situations. Even the levitating one, I don't know what's going to come up, but if you don't have your firebolt and you want to be able to levitate a little bit, however that might help you, keep some of those around.
The Weasleys could have been great in this tournament. Oh my goodness.
Because they would think so creatively and they wanted to compete. So Harry can go to them, help them feel included and say, look, I'm not worthy to be here, but you guys genuinely are. I got an inside scoop. Help me out.
And Harry's like, look, I already have a fortune. I'll give you my money if you keep me alive.
Seriously, exactly. He should be assembling his team right now.
Yeah.
And so that's why it feels like he was keeping it all a secret, which is fine. And he's got Moody and that helps. But if I were in his shoes, I'd assemble my squad.
Yeah, for real.
Let's put our heads together, people.
And that'd make the tournament a little bit more entertaining too. I love the idea of one wizard fighting, but if you have a little team of people and they're all helping this one person out, then you're getting more creative spells. You're getting more interesting work done, I think, because there's more than one way to skin a cat. There's probably more than one way to get past the dragon.
But it's supposed to be a tri-wizard tournament, so it's supposed to be
Quad wizard.
Quad.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I lost my train of thought. Thank you.
No, you were going to say it is supposed to be your own work doing that, which I love. I think that's really the heart of the tournament.
But that's because you guys are Hufflepuff, so that's why you're thinking that way.
Yeah, we're teamwork people.
So true. You're right.
Yeah.
It's really showing right now.
Right.
But do we know any spells? What would you do if you had
I don't know any spells.
No, not actually. You don't even know the names of things. Harry knows some curses. Can you curse a dragon? You know what I mean? Do we know anything that could actually fight a dragon?
Repario. One that came to
eggs
mind.
that Crumb broke. Repario.
Ooh, nice.
Or I said it wrong.
It's all right.
No, you can't mispronounce it. It won't work.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. It's going to take a lot of practice.
I'll be in big trouble.
Jen's constantly going to be like, Repario. Oh, did I pronounce that right?
Neville, that's why.
And meanwhile, the dragon is going eating you.
And you wouldn't save me, thanks.
Man.
That's the only one I could think of. What else is there? Oh, the little fire that comes out of your wand. We've seen that one. I don't know. What's the name of that one?
The fire one?
Fire?
Yeah, or the light. Oh, no.
Lumos.
Oh, yeah.
Lumos. So not fire. It's close.
Just give him a little light.
Over here.
Yeah.
So wait, is the like
know.
summoning the egg not?
I don't know.
Let's rule
seems
that off.
decent,
I
but
like that
assuming
one,
that
though.
wouldn't
Yeah,
work.
because there has to be some kind of spell that you can do that you can stop someone from summoning something. And I'm sure like you probably have this all, like if I'm in Gringotts and I just say, summon all the gold in here.
So true.
Yeah. Just that's easiest bank robberies ever. Actually, gold.
Why can't you use that in the tournament though?
Because it's a gold egg. I feel like it's too easy.
Maybe all gold. Interesting.
Yeah.
Certain metals.
But it opens,
maybe.
so it's not fully gold.
yeah, for sure.
So
And I do think that maybe it's just too easy. So I like where your mind's going because you're like, this is just simple. Just summon it. But I feel like there has to be,
It's too
like
easy.
Dumbledore thought of it. He's like, we can't just make it this easy for him. We got to put dragons in here. Not only dragons, nesting mother. So we can't just make them summon it automatically. They're making it really tough.
Even with
Really want them to die.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, definitely. Even with Ginny in book 2, couldn't summon her diary from the house. So I'm just wondering, certain things just can't be summoned, and I don't know what distinguishes that yet. But
maybe it
and
has
same
its
with-
own magic. Like maybe there's magic in its
Maybe,
own.
yeah, like.
But then
certain
the
thing-
fire. Oh, I guess.
Firebolt. Yeah, you're right.
But it's technically not like, is it?
I
guess
would
it
think
does
so.
that.
Yeah.
Because it flies.
I guess, yeah. And even because don't all brooms have cushioning charms now? So they've all been like they've gotten work done on them. So they're full of magic in a lot of ways at this point.
I had an idea.
And they can't apparate either because it's within Hogwarts at this
Yep.
point.
Oh, you can't apparate to get the egg and come back.
I'm assuming that it's within this
Hogwarts
Hogwarts
grounds,
grounds, that you can't apparate here.
Well, I was thinking they were in a tent, right? So can't you just pull the tent cover off of it, put it on the dragon, have it all tangled up?
That's a good one.
Grab the egg and bounce.
I think that's the best I've heard.
creative.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that's like easy second year spell.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big object, but still,
Yeah, but
that I think would do it.
What is that spell to make a levitate giant? Come on. Think. First year we learned this one.
Oh, nice.
he's quizzing me.
Everyone just swish and flick.
Livia.
Wingardium.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Boom.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Yeah,
To the tent.
it goes in and out. I can't. I struggle with English words. I'm not gonna be with like wizarding words.
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't hear what I said. Did
You're not
you?
good with wizarding words.
Yep.
Come on.
Sure. You didn't hear the first part. Oh, good.
Okay, they get in a conversation. Harry now gets in a conversation with Sirius, and they talk about a few things I want to talk about with you guys. So one of the first things is, what do you think about the info that Sirius gave about Crockpot, aka Karkaroff?
Pretty
What
fascinating.
do I think about the information Sirius gave about him?
So he was a Death Eater. He was an actor. Like the line, "We know he's a good actor," said Sirius, because he convinced the Ministry of Magic to set him free, didn't he? And meanwhile, Jen's reading this, cracking her fingers. Darn right, I guess that perfectly. I am so good. And he was a Death Eater. He went to Azkaban. He seems like a pretty dark wizard.
I also said like Crockpot and Crumb were at the Quidditch World Cup.
Yes.
Just putting it out there again. So what was your question?
What do you just think of Karkaroff, Crackpot?
I still don't like him, but I'm not ready to throw the book at him. I feel like if there's any place that could make you turn good, it would probably be Azkaban. Good time.
Azkaban.
5-year-olds.
Yeah, classic. But I'm gonna say, okay, it'll take a minute. Yep.
You guys all right? We got a stomach growling over here. And we have our 5-year-olds cracking up at that.
Oh goodness! Just the timing. I like paused, growl, continue,
It was like a roll.
and the mics will never pick it up, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know.
Tried not to.
He could have been a bad person, and now he's a good person. Do I believe it?
Straight?
Probably not, but it is possible.
Like a redemption story of how he became.
He's been rehabilitated, his time there. But also weird that another person has gone in and out of Azkaban. At first, we thought nobody comes out of this place. You're going there to die, life sentence only. And now we know 3 people have gone and left. One breakout. Hagrid was, sent there unjustly, and you can negotiate your way out. So there are lots of ways out of Azkaban.
But how can you negotiate when only, like, who's in charge? The Ministry of Magic's in charge of Azkaban. And the Dementors are security. So they can talk to people? They're given time to talk to people?
Yeah.
The prisoners?
And we know... what's his name? The Ministry of Magic, the head guy, Fudge. He went in to talk to Sirius because that's how he saw the newspaper too. So like you can even visit people there. So it's not quite as insane as like the original thoughts are. Now we're getting more of a classic jail, like in Muggle world, where people are there, but you can also go and visit, and you can maybe even have a retrial with the Ministry and negotiate things, early release for good behavior. Or he didn't want to give people up. Little time there. All of a sudden, he's like, you know what? I will give these people up. And in a weird way, doesn't that make him more good? Because now the evil people will hate him because he gave up some of them.
Unless... but evil is evil, right? They're always going to throw each other under the bus, I feel like. Is there really like a...
no honor amongst thieves. Interesting.
Yeah.
Could be true.
So, Danny, you're saying that because he's out of Azkaban now, those people that he was working with, maybe he ratted them out, and those people hate him even more now.
Well, yeah, like all those people who hate Moody because he threw them in Azkaban, now there's a group of people, I forget if it said a number. In my head,
Karkaroff is one of them that Moody put into Azkaban.
Yeah. But now like a number of people Karkaroff threw in Azkaban. It was his testimony that got them thrown in. So he made enemies.
Could they be real, or could they have been good people that have thrown in?
Yeah, it could have been a lot of things, and we don't know. And that's why I'm not quite ready to write him off as evil, even though it seems like it, and I don't like him right now. But I feel like there's still a chance he could be good.
I don't know.
There is the one thing, and someone mentioned this online too, that Karkaroff is teaching dark magic still.
Yeah.
Right.
At Durmstrang. If he was at Beauxbaton and he wasn't teaching it, or maybe he was performing the education at Durmstrang, maybe you'd be more likely to believe him. But
Or
he
the
still has that about him.
defense of the dark arts.
Yeah.
Like then he would be.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to get a job, but he doesn't pass the background
He's an
checks
ex-con.
anymore.
Yeah.
But they hired him right away.
If any school would, he had some connections over there.
That's
it
what
was
I'm
the
saying,
only
though.
person who didn't want to kill him, his friend that he went to Durmstrang's with back in his day,
I love when you play devil's advocate.
I don't.
I'm just thinking, also, why would he be allowed to teach at all? Shouldn't there be probation? Like you get out and he can just go
No, because
influence
that's
the
like
young
the
minds?
best teacher for that school. Oh, someone that went.
Yeah.
But the Ministry of Magic, I can't believe they let him get away with that. Like, we're going to release you from Azkaban
And you're going to teach.
and you can do whatever you want. Or maybe they gave him rules and this was just the only thing he could get. But
Go work with children.
well, yeah, exactly. Like,
teach
why
them your
would that
ways.
be allowed? It's like he should be on the registry of like former Death Eaters, and he should not be allowed to go around kids now.
Like
But
pedophile.
everything is in the
say that,
registry. Yeah. Everything you're saying about
We all are thinking.
Karkaroff is the same thing that Hogwarts has with Hagrid, but it's just we confirm that we know more about Hagrid, so we trust him. But what if the Durmstrang students know more about Karkaroff and they trust him? So to your theory, also on that, maybe he really is good. We just don't get a lot of time with him. But in this instance, maybe the time that we do get with him is just skewed. He seems like a shady guy. Maybe he's just passionate about Victor Crumb winning, and that's really his backstory. And he's going for that no matter how he can. So he really loves the students. Maybe he's really changed and loves the students.
He doesn't treat the other students well.
Yeah.
He only
That's
treats
true. He
Crumb
has
well.
been pretty rude.
Yeah. But does Hagrid treat
Yes.
Malfoy well?
Does
But
Moody
Malfoy
treat him
deserves it. This other kid was not just like there.
Yeah.
And Karkaroff is like, go. Or I forget what he did.
You don't know? Maybe there's a backstory between the two.
All right,
that would be-
guys.
Jen's
Maybe
like,
there's a
"Move on,
backstory
next
to this.
So Sirius mentions also that there was an intruder. He talks about the intruder who tried to stop Moody. Do you, what do you think of that whole story? I mean, I remember you mentioned it a while ago as something to think of.
Yeah.
Do you know who it could possibly be, or if it really was just Moody being really neurotic and paranoid about pots and pans crashing in his house or something?
I think it has to be somebody. Only because I had that theory, and now it's being confirmed. Not confirmed, but another person, Sirius, that we trust is throwing it out there. But it can't be someone good at what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's why the first person came to mind was Wormtail. Mm-hmm. He could have even been in rat form.
Wait, could we
Knocking
say
over
again
trash or whatever.
what happened before Moody came? There was an incident. What exactly happened
The
again?
night before he was going to come to Hogwarts, there was an intruder at his house. Mm-hmm. Remember, this is when Mr. Amos Diggory's head popped into the fireplace, and he's like, "There's been an incident with Madame Moody.
Okay.
Can you go get him off? Because if it went into the hands of other Ministry of Magic officials, it would have been messed up."
And because it had to do with his department even a little, because it was bins that had something on them to make them attack. So these bins attacked somebody. But the regular police were called, so muggles were involved.
Yeah.
And that's why it was a whole thing. But that's why I'm like, this was not a smart thief falling for attacking bins. Maybe I just don't think of garbage cans as being that threatening. So it seems to me like it would have to be someone either like a kid or like someone who I don't view as good at magic.
Or
like Wormtail.
it
what?
could be, what's her name? The elf, the house elf. That was
Winky.
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 Oh, yeah.
Could it have been Winky?
Yeah,
Could have
I think
been.
there's
Yeah,
a pretty
sure.
real possibility of that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, do you think that Crouch would be behind it?
Maybe.
He's like, I'm gonna go interrogate my own elf, and then he's like, you know what? No,
Maybe
go to Moody's
Crouch,
house.
Kokarov, and Reader Skeeter
Yeah,
are
it's
all
a whole-
in together.
a bin for each of them. They're like all trapped inside one of the garbage bins now. Oh, it's so funny.
I mean,
I like what Sirius is saying, though. I think that theory is pretty, like, trying to get him not to go to Hogwarts or...
Mm-hmm.
I forget what your question was.
No, I mean,
Was that-
it's like essentially who did it.
Oh,
but I think
yeah,
that's another interesting point too. Sirius is definitely right. Like this person definitely doesn't want Moody at the school. So out of everyone who doesn't, we know who's in the book right now. Does anybody truly like not want Moody at the school? And do you think
Well,
those
if we
people...
think it could be Kokarov from what
Yeah.
Sirius is saying. Doesn't want him there.
Snape.
Could be Crumb. Could
Snape's
be...
like, I'm going to knock out this teacher who took my job.
Yep.
He's like, I don't care about him that much. I have nothing but just spite.
they got some weird energy.
Yeah. Yeah, there's something deeper going on
Yeah,
there.
that is definitely true.
But I feel like whoever did the Dark Mark is probably the same person. But we still don't really know who that is. So we're still left guessing. Could it be anyone else?
I'm like, is it going to be such a curveball? Like, it's someone that we would
Could be.
never have thought of.
But it could be. Maybe it's someone you really never expected. Maybe it could be like Dumbledore planning this whole thing, or that would be wild. But
Hagrid.
oh man,
That would be so...
you needed some big trash bins.
But
For that,
he wouldn't do that.
yeah, maybe Madame Maxine.
And that's what I was thinking. Or Floor, since you were hating on her last time.
Is hating on Floor?
There's just
Probably was.
Yeah.
We forget about that whole conversation. Blocked it out.
When I'm playing devil's advocate, it's not even me. I'm playing a character, guys.
I don't think that was Devil's Advocate. You were sold on Floor. The two of you were like, blah, blah, blah.
she's Vila. What do you expect?
Wait, sold on Floor like in a good way?
I was
No,
sold
you're
I
on
thought you
Floor.
were the Floor fan.
I'm sold on Floor in a good way. And you like Floor because you like the French people.
I do
because
like
that was such a funny part of the last podcast where you go, I just like them because they're cool and sexy.
It's
And
true.
you like Crumb. You don't like Floor that much. You like
I like Crumb. Yep.
because he's warm and kind of cozy. He's a,
I like guys who
Crumb's
don't
a
like
nice
Crumb.
guy.
Yeah, I like Crumb. He seems cool.
He's in the library. He's studying. He doesn't care about all this like fame.
That's
So
what he
true.
wants you to think.
He
So
does.
again, I think in this book there are a lot of new characters introduced. This is why it's fun, because she's really expanding the world in this book. But all these characters are overwhelming because you don't know who to trust.
Yeah.
But we have come up with our list of who we trust.
Yep.
Which is Dumbledore, Hagrid, Moody, Ron, Hermione. Is anybody
Sirius.
else?
And
The
Sirius.
Weasleys.
Sirius, the Weasleys, McGonagall.
And not all the Weasleys. Mr. and Mrs. at least, and Ron.
Yeah, for sure.
Fred and George.
Could be
Charlie
Percy.
and Bill. I don't know. Percy, he could go evil.
Yeah.
And I would not even be surprised.
Oh, Percy is the worst.
Because let's face it, if Crouch is evil, then I feel like Percy would get roped into that so fast.
But maybe
Yes.
Percy would find out about it first and then
he
relay
might
it
do
back
the right
to the
thing.
family.
I would
or
hope
he
so.
goes off the deep end.
Percy.
Yeah. If he
see
finds
him-
out that things are getting a little,
No, but he likes to follow the rules. How could he go
No, but
turn?
he wouldn't think of it as being evil, like bad. He would think of himself as being the good guy because he doesn't mind doing the wrong, the right thing when nobody else wants to. Because he's a hall monitor. He's a prefect. He's just like willing to make enemies to do the right thing. So if he thinks he's doing the right thing, but it goes against all of his family, I think he'd still do it.
Yeah, I mean, he was even trash talking his dad already.
Yep.
So I wouldn't be too surprised.
So that's why I'm not saying he'd be evil, like out killing people, but I think he would be willing to do much more than we think if he thinks it's the right thing to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I think he could be brainwashed, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Wow. That would be devastating, though. Like
that'd
one
be
of the
rough.
Weasleys kind of leaving the family over what they think.
I didn't
Went
expect
on
it to
a
go here. We're just
whole-
trying to list
Wow.
who we trust.
Oh my gosh.
Hard left.
That guy
Surprised
heavy.
himself.
That was intense.
Don't worry, you'll forget it in a few seconds.
It's not headcanon or anything.
Yeah.
It's your alter ego.
Yeah, I'm back.
Comes out.
I love that Harry was spilling his guts to Sirius in a way
Yeah.
that I feel like we don't see very often.
Yes.
Like
That's what we've been wanting
he
him
was
to
like,
do.
Yep.
and then he just said it all. And I was like, oh, this is so healthy. Finally. He needs this. And this has to be like a constant thing now. This is his therapy.
It
So,
was so nice. I love
Serious
proud of
head
Harry.
in the fire.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
tell me.
Yep. And there's even this line. It's tough at the end. Like he unloads everything, and then Sirius goes, "Right, these dragons." Says Sirius speaking very quickly. "There's a way, Harry. You can do it alone. There's a way. A simple spell is all you need. Just." But Harry held up a hand to silence him. His heart suddenly pounding as though it would burst. He could hear footsteps coming on the spiral staircase behind him, and he waves him to go. What was the thing that Sirius was going to tell him to do?
a simple spell. Could it have
Lombardio
been the same thing?
Leviosa. Did I say it right?
I don't know.
I was so mad at that because I was like, oh, just let
I
him tell you.
know.
Who cares
Right.
if someone sees? They're not going to
Yeah.
really know what's going on.
And even if they did, like they're gonna see a face. They don't know what he looks like. Just Harry was talking to a dude in the fire. Who cares?
And then it was Ron. He was even more pissed off.
But they do know what he looks like. It's Sirius Black.
'cause
His
he was
face
in
has all been
newspaper
over
and
the
stuff.
news.
You're right.
It is Ron, so that's annoying.
But he got a haircut now.
Yeah,
so
but
might be less
he
recognizable.
looked different.
He looked different. He
though.
looked fuller. He looked younger, which is great. I love that. Love that for him.
But if you're standing in front of someone that is talking to you in a fireplace, you
Yeah.
block them and you just tell them to be quiet.
yeah, or just like take it.
That bothered
take a
me.
sheet and drape it over.
You don't have to send
This
them
is
Lives are
away.
at stake.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the one point I want to defend Harry a little bit here, because I kind of like that he did this, and I think this is maybe the shining attribute of Harry over everything else is that he is not willing to compromise on his saving other people.
Yeah.
That he would actually rather die himself in the Triwizard Tournament fighting a dragon than let Sirius be discovered and let Sirius be caught. And so the lightest trace of a door opening and someone's footsteps coming down, he is like, Sirius, get out of here now, go. And I think that's one of Harry's most admirable qualities
Yeah,
is his
you're right.
desire to protect other people that he really truly does love. And he really, really, truly loves Sirius. I think you see this in this instant. And this is one of the most heartwarming instances because he really pours out his whole heart. He's like, everything's happening. This is crap. Just like, help me out. And then at the moment that Sirius is really going to help him out in this book, we're like, everything that goes to crap and it sucks.
Could have just blurted it out as he was
I know.
leaving.
Just yell the
know.
spell and call it a day.
Ask Hermione, it's something with da-da-da.
I know.
Like, I don't know.
Do something. I
One
know.
word. Just say anything.
But I also loved when Sierra was talking about Bertha Jorkins, because I was like, oh, like it pieced everything together. Like she's not all there. She doesn't kind of be lured into anything. And then she was the one that told Voldemort or Wormtail about the Triwizard. And I'm like, oh, okay, like now we're piecing everything together.
Yeah.
I feel like I still wasn't sure about that until he explained it.
Yeah.
I'm curious why it was rumored that Voldemort was in Albania. Because according to what we're thinking, he wasn't there. He was in England this whole time, 200 miles from Privet Drive.
Yeah.
So, or did they say kilometers? I don't remember. But Albania, it feels like that whole rumor might have just been Wormtail doing work for Voldemort. Or there's a lot more going on than we realize.
I'm sure there is. But I was thinking the same thing with Wormtail.
Oh, actually, maybe Wormtail went to Albania.
Yeah.
Bertha Jorkins, death, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
But
she's gone.
he-
Then he comes back. Maybe he was on a mission to Albania already for something else. Happened to run into her there.
No, I feel...
So wasn't that it? Was it not happen to run
No,
into him?
sorry, continue.
And then I was just thinking afterwards, once he got back, they milk the snake. Then they both can go back to Albania to finish what Wormtail was starting the first time when he ran into Bertha. So maybe those rumors that Sirius is referencing are actually Voldemort, because Voldemort went back to Albania with Wormtail after the fact
I
to
feel
finish whatever Wormtail was trying to do over there. Maybe?
that's a great point. But I think otherwise.
Did they lure her over there?
Just like, great point.
Or
You're
was
wrong,
it happenstance? I feel like I need to reread the beginning of the first
I don't
chapter
really
and see.
remember. But I think Wormtail went to help Voldemort come back to life, or like to nurse
And
him
that
back
might
to
have
life
happened in
Albania,
Albania.
because he then ran into Bertha Jorkins, and then like Voldemort killed her. So that had to be in Albania, and I don't know why would they travel so much if he's not well or like he's weak.
So
Not that I really
bring him
know where
back
they're
to
traveling.
a little bit of life, so he's a shriveled human thing, and then carry him back, apparate back to England.
That's true. You can. I don't know.
Maybe no, I don't. I have
Maybe
no
your
idea.
thing is right. I
That makes
think
sense. Where's Romania relative to Albania?
this is where I need a map.
There's a lot
You guys
going on
need
in
to show me.
Eastern Europe there. That's like north of Greece, south of Ukraine, maybe. A couple countries in there that I'm not.
Yeah, Albania
super
is
familiar
near
with.
Greece. It's near North Macedonia, Serbia, and Montenegro. Bosnia, Herzegovina.
Yep, that helps me
Sorry,
a lot.
Serbia, not
Coast, a
Serbia,
little bit
Montenegro.
east. Okay.
Huh?
What?
She said, yeah, that helps me.
Well, there's just a lot of wizarding action over there because that's where Charlie is with the dragons in Romania. So there's a hub of wizards over there.
It is one country away from Bulgaria. And Romania is right above Bulgaria.
You're right. They keep coming up.
And that's where Crumb is from, right?
Crumb is the Bulgarian seeker.
Yep.
I always thought Albania was further north, but Albania looks lovely. If I was Voldemort and like a
Crumb was
shriveled
doing
soul, I would
crummy
definitely want to go to Albania and just like go retire on the coast of Albania. Oh my goodness. It's like right by the boot of Italy. You kidding me?
Yeah, I heard it's really pretty.
Yeah.
My
All right,
coworker
new
is
trip. We're
Albanian.
gonna go. That's our first one. We'll go to Albania, find Lord Voldemort, kill him, and
Excellent.
then we'll start the rest of the
Then,
journey.
yes,
Because
exactly.
you know all the spells, John. You'd carry this team.
No, Jen would be going Wingardium Leviosa. Okay, we raise him in the air and we just drop him.
Yep.
Now you could deal with the dragon. No, I'm just kidding, because it has wings. so you
No,
can
we
do it.
tangle him with the tent. That is what he said. Tie him up.
Okay. We probably talked about a lot of chapter 20 already, so
True, yeah.
but very quickly, give me a summary of chapter 20. I mean, it's quite simple. It's involved, but it's simple.
The first task
Yeah.
of the
Yes.
Quad Wizard
Quad Wizard Tournament, yeah.
tournament.
Yeah,
And they go into detail about each encounter with the dragons, their
Yeah.
own dragon.
and one of the first things that we did.
Ron
Yeah.
and Harry become friends again.
Yeah, that was
Re-
wonderful. That was a fun part. We'll get to that in a sec. But this starts off with something that annoys me a little bit, but Harry destroying Cedric's handbag. The new one that he just got.
Over the line.
I know. I'm like, just trip him or something like that.
Or just like go talk to him. It just felt like
because
ink everywhere now and the whole thing.
Because Harry didn't want to talk to the rest of the people around Cedric, so he's like, you know what? I'm just going to sabotage him and destroy the bag that he just got. Come on, Harry.
A little rough. The Reparo spell works.
Yeah, hopefully. Hermione would be able to fix that quick. Yeah. Anyway, that was a quick rant.
I had to listen to that a couple times. I was
and
like,
there were no guarantees.
Why did he do it?
Work.
Yeah.
And then I was like, just to get them away?
Yeah. But what if they all stayed to help him clean his stuff up, and then it would be the same thing?
I know.
But with
they're not good friends because they're like, okay, bye.
Well,
because Cedric was like,
that spoke to the character of Cedric. I like that about Cedric. He's like, no, guys, just tell the professor I'll be late. I'll just do this myself. I like him. Cedric is an upstanding guy. I really like Cedric. Except
he seems legit.
He seems more of an animal abuser than Harry. Because he sends a Labrador out
he is
for a dragon to go devour.
Oh, Wes.
I'm saying that because Wes is right there sleeping. He's a cutie. Yeah, my first question on this chapter was, how would you feel if you got a new handbag and Harry Potter comes and splits it down the middle?
Split him in the middle.
Oh, yeah. I would not like
I was just thinking of another handbag story.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, no, you got a handbag story. Let's hear it.
It's not my story to say.
But
classic.
That would be terrible.
Yes.
You know what is weird? That Harry and Hermione walked around the lake 3 times.
Yeah.
There must be multiple lakes, maybe? Or something. Because it just doesn't make sense. Walk around the lake? Now, maybe I got a bit of movie lake in my head. And also, I refuse to accept that it's not Loch Ness.
And Loch Ness is huge.
So lake, now we're thinking freshwater. Maybe it was just low tide and there was a spot they could walk. But like all the pictures I have of a lake are gigantic. You don't walk around it 3 times. You hike around it once and it would take you like all day, maybe. Also, I know it's magic, so it doesn't really make sense. What?
I'm just thinking of a lake down in where I went to school.
Well, like they could be reasonable. Yeah, like small and whatever. But I'm picturing Hogwarts, this castle is on a lake that's like gigantic. You know, like they have to sail across it with the first years when they get there. And like I'm picturing...
We're talking a really, really long time.
Yeah. And so it's possible. But also Durmstrang sailed there. So I pictured, granted it's magic, they could fly. I don't know what the ship can do, but I was picturing it was like a submarine and kind of did the whole journey underwater. Okay. So it would have to be a saltwater lake connected to the ocean. So that's how the ship got there. So now I'm like, these things don't seem to fully align. And even in the movies, again, it was a lock. It was like connected to the sea at some point. So now I'm like, they walked around it. I don't buy it. How? Maybe low tide. That's all I could gather.
Can't there be another lake nearby?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe multiple. Like this is like an additional pool, like a bonus lake.
I love the way
this is
your
a pond.
brain works.
You can walk around it 3 times while you're having one conversation.
Yeah.
Sure. Totally fine. But the lake, like the one that we've got
says the lake.
Squids in it and everything and whatever. It doesn't say. We don't know.
So...
Sorry, I just really want to find Hogwarts, and this is making it so tricky.
Yeah. Unless she has her time turner. Did a little turn.
You just said she handed it back in.
I know, yeah, for sure. I'm just messing. Yeah, maybe not.
For sure, he says.
I think you definitely still have movie lake in your head. And I think the books is a little bit smaller.
There's lake, a squid there. Reasonable.
Yeah.
How would a sailboat get in there?
Huh?
The Durmstrang came in a huge boat.
Yeah,
so if it's a little lake, how is that happening?
It's got to be somewhat sizable.
It just opens up and then goes back to small?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a great question.
I think of Pirates of the Caribbean. Someone brought that up, right?
Yeah.
Coming out of like
Davy
the whirlpool.
Jones.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fascinating one. I think it's bigger than some people think, but probably not quite as big as the movies.
Okay.
But it just depends on the director.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Each one might be different.
Yeah. The lake looks different every single movie.
Maybe it changes size each day.
Yeah. We talked about this before too, but what are the character qualities that you like in Harry? And what are the ones that you actually really dislike? If we're gonna do a character analysis of him.
I like that he sticks to his guns.
Yeah.
He kind of he trusts his gut a little bit. It's cool.
Yeah. He trusts his gut and Sirius and no one else.
And he sticks to his word too, which just goes along with that a little.
He's got a lot of nobility to him. He knows, well, I guess he knows the other people are cheating, and he knows Cedric is the only one who doesn't know. So I love Harry's righteousness and going to tell him. Even Moody says that's a very noble thing you did. Right?
I can't stand how stubborn he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But sometimes I like it.
Yeah, it can be a good quality.
Yeah. If it's about good things. Yeah.
Right. And
What is the good word of stubbornness? Steadfastness. Yeah. Steadfastness is the positive spin on being stubborn, and he's very steadfast.
Selfish sometimes.
Yeah. Wait, selfish in what way?
Like, I don't think he thinks of the consequences that it'll like hurt other, like him putting himself in danger is selfish sometimes when it's unnecessary, and his friends and family most of his friends, are like worried for him or afraid or whatever. So that's where I'm coming from, like selfish. Maybe there's a better word.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. He's almost like being selfish in the ways that he thinks he's being unselfish, and the ways he's trying to protect other people. Sometimes he just needs to let those people make their own decisions and do their own things. And he's done this with Sirius in the past before, and he's done this with Ron and Hermione too. Like, he needs to stop being so selfless that he's being selfish. But then Moody pulls him into his office now. Or were you gonna say that?
No, I was going to ask Kristen. She always has a great character analysis.
I don't have anything. I'm trying to dig into the trenches of my mind, and I can't. Right?
I'm always like, Kristen has the psychology of all our characters. I'm what are you going to say?
Specific instances, it's too broad for my mind.
Yeah. I'm the same. If someone asks me if personality tests, I'm like, everything's circumstantial in these. I can do this one thing and this one and another one in this. And then Harry kind of is the same too. He doesn't trust people, but every once in a while he surprises you. Yeah. Like even his outpouring for Sirius right here, that's kind of like a surprising little thing. It took me by surprise. Yeah. And some of the things that he conceals, some of his absolute stubbornness, like his inability to mend the relationship with Ron earlier was a little shocking for me too. I'm like, this is his best friend. And I know sometimes best friends get aroused like this, but Harry's desire for friends so much and family should lead him to mending this quicker. So yeah, I think you're right. Everything is circumstantial and situational with him.
I don't know. Maybe I'll come up with something in an hour.
Yeah. When you're driving home. Oh, guys, I have this great point. How do you like Moody's dark detectors? So he has a few. Do you remember what they are?
They're cool.
Secrecy
sensor?
So he has a sneakoscope.
Yep, that's what I was saying.
And that has the mile radius. And it's spinning like crazy.
It literally said a mile radius. Yeah. I missed that. Okay.
And a secrecy sensor, right?
Secrecy sensor. Yep. What is that one?
It vibrates when it detects concealment and lies.
Which is always doing it. He said at the school.
And then he has the mirror, right? Or the faux glass.
Oh yeah. What was that?
Yeah, I was hard to understand what that one was. I was like,
so it's a mirror that the blurrier your enemies, the farther they are away from you in actual proximity to you. The more refined and close they are, and more that you can actually see them clearly, they're closer to you in proximity.
Gotcha.
So if you end up seeing one perfectly, you're like, oh, he's right behind me.
So that's when he says seeing the whites of their eyes. Yeah. Meaning they're close to the mirror. They're right there.
They're literally behind you.
Proximity, they're also close.
Yeah.
But then it's weird because he's like, that's when I open my trunk. I'm like, what kind of gigantic wizard weapon is in this trunk? Don't open the trunk. I'm confused as why that solves his faux problem. But
he's got weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah, but Harry's just like, okay, cool, your trunk. All right, on we go to other things. It's funny.
What do you think could be in the trunk? Do you think we're going to find out? Or is he just saying something weird?
Oh, there's something in the trunk. Moody doesn't mess around. And 7 keyholes?
To get into the trunk.
Yeah.
I guess. I guess at first I thought he has 7 different keys that would take a long time to open. Maybe it's like different people have keys. You got to bring them all together. Only when 7 people that are all at a certain level can. He's like, Dumbledore, quick, come here, Hagrid.
That
we
would
gotta
take forever.
Yeah, it would take so long, and that would be impractical if his foe was right there. So maybe never mind.
The whites of his eyes.
Think of this. What if he has all the people that he couldn't lock in Azkaban down in his trunk? Like
gosh.
the bins? Like trash bins? The person that came to attack him, he locked in the trash bins
trunk.
and he literally put them in his trunk.
That's like the
why it's
Shia
7
LaBeouf movie.
Yeah, that's why it's 7 locks. It's all those there. He has 7
Yep.
people down there.
The
That
Shia
is
LaBeouf
great.
movie where like his neighbor has all the
Disturbia.
Disturbia.
yeah.
That's a great movie.
Have you guys seen the movie Prisoners?
No.
That sounds like
Prisoners. Sounds a
something
little
I
familiar.
wouldn't.
Jake
about that, right?
Gyllenhaal, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen
What's his name? The singing Australian guy.
Hugh Jackman?
Hugh Jackman.
That's really
Nice. Could have been Russell Crowe, not a good singer.
That's really great.
That movie is terrifying. Oh,
Wow, interesting. I feel like I need to see that. It sounds
yeah. It's
Cool.
phenomenal. It's their best. I think it's their best performances by far. I think
Whoa.
I think Hugh Jackman is the best he's ever done. And same thing, Jake
Whoa.
Gyllenhaal. There's another guy, Paul Dano, that does it. I think it's the best movie he's ever done by far. It is good, but it's terrifying. It's one of those movies I watched and I saw once, but it's about some guy who abducts another person. I'm like, Moody just has those people in his bins down in his. And he's got 7 keys because he's got 7 bins down there. Oh my gosh, it's so funny.
Ah, okay. So I assumed that's when he opens his trunk to let a Dementor out or something else to like help
What page are
him.
you
But that's when he opens his trunk because he's about to throw a foe in there. That's the thing. He's like, when I see the whites of their eyes, I get ready to lock him in my trunk. I open it up just so it's ready for him.
Hey, that sounds
Boom.
pretty good.
That's so fascinating. That's a great turn of phrase right
Like, 'cause
there.
that actually makes almost more sense for Moody. where
Yeah,
it's like
for
he's
real.
so confident. He's just like, when my foes are near, I get ready to be victorious, basically.
Huh.
That's pretty funny.
What page
That's
are
so
you on?
fascinating. I had never thought of that.
Oh, 343.
Thank you.
We're just going back very briefly on this character study of Harry. We have a comment here. Harry was more hurt that he was that Ron was the first friend he ever had, and that friend didn't believe him when he said he didn't put his name in the goblet, which I think is really true. And he covered that hurt with anger at Ron, which I think again is true.
Yeah.
Harry is. I do feel pretty bad for Harry in this instance. But he does have Hermione next to him who's helping him, but it's just not quite the same, like he mentions later. So with Moody is essentially helping Harry cheat here too.
Yeah.
How do you like this? How do you like the idea of
Moody's
cheating
like,
in the
I'm not
tournament?
going to show any
Yeah.
favoritism. But what I will give is general advice.
Make the thing that you are good at come to you. Come on, Harry.
Well, that's what I'm forgetting what it actually says at the end of the chapter. Who dismisses it? Like everybody cheats. It's normal. Bagman, is that what he
Bagman.
says? Like when he's talking to Harry. I guess I just don't like that because it's so vague.
Yeah.
But if you think that everyone else is going to be cheating and then you have to also cheat, but then are there really any rules? Like, I guess I'm thinking this comes up for me in, I was thinking almost poker, like bluffing, or the game Mafia. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever played the game, you know, everyone puts their heads down, all the villagers go to sleep, and then the mafia wakes up and kills people. You play with your friends, and then the sheriff has to figure out who the mafia is. And ultimately, you're stuck lying to your friends and trying to bluff and say, I'm not the mafia, he's the mafia. I heard he made a noise when the mafia
Just
woke up,
learned
or whatever
that
that
last
game
year.
is. So I would always face that dilemma, like, how far do I go in the game to lie directly to the people that I love that I'm playing this game with? And it always feels so weird, but it's like within the game, you just embrace that you're gonna lie, you're gonna whatever. And I used to try and do it with no lying, and that was fun too. But I'm wondering, is that what this is? Within the Triwizard Tournament, it is accepted that trickery, sneaking around, cheating is part of the game. It's like, who can find out what the tournament is going to be before it actually starts? Who can spot the dragons? Who can do better research and have better like informants? I'm adopting that mentality because otherwise we're witnessing Harry cheat in like 5 different ways before it starts. And that feels weird too.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, At this point, I'm embracing the idea that the Triwizard Tournament is not perfect. It's got a lot of flaws, even with the judges. And the idea is to do whatever you need to do to win.
Yeah.
But I thought we were saying it's survival for Harry.
It is, yes, totally. And that's
Yeah.
another out for Harry. But even if it wasn't survival, even for Cedric, like, did Cedric then go into the library and start reading about dragons? He took the information Harry gave him.
He already had Transfiguration book with him.
Maybe he didn't. Maybe he was too noble, and he said, because Harry said it immediately. Harry didn't say, "Do you want me to tell you what the first challenge is?" Harry just said, "It's dragons." Boom. So Cedric didn't even have the chance to turn him down.
Yeah.
But if he was given the chance, would Cedric have turned him down?
That's
Or
a
is it just
fascinating
accepted
one, yeah.
that this is part of it? If you get a chance to learn information, you got to take it. And that's how Harry got in the tournament to begin with. He's not above the age limit. But Dumbledore drew the age line, and if someone could find a way past it, it felt like it was kind of like, hey, if you find a way through this, you can be in.
That's another interesting one too, because it's students, so none of them really truly have a choice in whether they want to cheat or not. Their teachers are their teachers are vicariously living through them, like I am vicariously living through you guys reading this for the first time. But their teachers are ultimately the ones that want to win more. It's like when you have a bad coach who is reliving his glory days, and all he wants to do is win, so he runs you ragged and they get you to cheat in every which way. You know, like it's a coach who ends up, you know, like letting his players take steroids in high school or something like that because he is so obsessed with winning, he cannot let that go. Karkaroff, Maxime seem like that. Dumbledore is more noble, and Moody's even said that because Moody was the one that even said everyone cheats in the tournament, I think. And I needed to get Dumbledore to recognize that.
Yeah.
Oh, Moody says that. Is that in this
Moody
conversation?
Says, it's all right, said Moody. Cheating's a traditional part of the
Yeah,
Triwizard Tournament and always
nice.
has been.
Yeah.
So not Bagman, or maybe Bagman said it too, but the fact that Moody's saying it always has been, interesting.
Yeah.
But I find it funny they all cheated, but they still had not the greatest.
Yeah,
like
right? They didn't come in that prepared.
it didn't seem like it.
And yet Sirius had a nice simple charm ready to go, or spell, just like, oh yeah, it's real simple, just do this. Curious what it's going to be.
But Cedric already had the Transfiguration book in his bag that fell out.
Nice.
So he was already practicing.
Yeah, that was a great catch actually. I didn't even notice that.
Oh yeah.
So his transfiguration skills were good. Like he honestly, if he didn't know about it, he might have done the same thing and done it pretty well.
Yeah.
He
was
didn't get a
probably
lot of
ready.
time to rethink this.
True, yeah.
I mean,
you're right.
Harry didn't get a ton either, but he got maybe at least an extra night to think about this.
Enough to get his fireball.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure.
I just still find it so interesting. Like you have to concentrate more and say it a certain way for the spell to work. And I don't get it.
Yeah,
It doesn't
that's
make
a point.
any sense to me.
It's kind of always evaded me too. I think we've talked about this before, but I think there's different
Probably.
spells that are like
brought it
it's
up
almost
before.
like, but it's a really confusing point because this spell seems like riding a bike. Once you get it, you get it. But at the same point, it requires concentration. So is there a point where you can just mess up this spell, even if you've done it a million times? Can you say this word and it won't, whatever you're summoning won't come to you? And I don't know. I think
I'm
that's
trying
really
to like
interesting.
parallel it to something. 'Cause
Same.
I'm even thinking of dance. So I have one instance of this move that I was doing and I could not get it. And I did it a million times. I kept falling or twisting weird. And then all of a sudden, I don't know if a different teacher kind of explained it a different way or whatever it was, but I got it and it clicked. And then I was able to just do it naturally.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know if maybe some kind
maybe,
of parallel
yeah.
with that. You know, it's hard because it's
Yeah,
just words,
exactly,
but like
yeah.
to connect it to like a physical movement, maybe
Yeah.
it's like that type of muscle.
And maybe it is muscle memory of the brain, right?
Right.
So maybe you're like exercising one part of the brain so that when you do that spell again, like you can actually have perfect muscle memory of how you did that when it worked. I guess it's kind of true of Harry and the Patronus charm in the third book too. Maybe that was like muscle
Yeah.
memory of him. He saw himself doing it. So he was like, I can do this. And then he's just able to do it.
Yeah.
So that's a good point.
Yeah, I feel like
that helps.
I'm thinking of whistling, like when you try and whistle with a blade of grass or
Yeah.
like an acorn. You can blow on that thing a million ways, it won't work, and then one day it just clicks, and you're like, "Oh, now I can
Yeah.
whistle."
Now you just get it.
I've never been able to do that.
Me neither.
Well, one day it's gonna click, guys.
There's
No, that is very true. I remember, I think I even told this story maybe a while ago when we were having this conversation, but I remember I was trying to learn how to whistle with 2 fingers in your mouth, and
Yep.
I couldn't get it. And I remember I was at a basketball game, and my mom could do it, and she taught me how to do it. She's like, you do this, you fold your tongue behind your mouth, and you just have to find that sweet spot. I remember the entire time at the basketball game annoying her to no end because I was trying to do this whistle, and I was like, and then all of a sudden I was like, and I was like, oh, I did it! And then once you find that sweet spot, it's easy. Like, you need to refine things and get it, but like once you find that, you're good. But it takes a while to find it, you know?
And I think from the outside, like whether it's a dance move or whistling or anything else, it would look very similar to somebody who doesn't know the difference. Maybe they're like, it looks like you have the right form for whistling, or wait, was that not the move? I thought you just did it. No, it's not right. I want it to feel this way. So maybe that's how it is. Like, it sounds like Harry's got it, but not fully.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's it. That's a great point.
That helps me, guys. Thanks.
Oh, perfect. There you go. What do you think of Bagman trying to help Harry in the tournament, though? So do you think it's different of Bagman helping him than it is Moody helping him? Do you think Bagman's was... I mean, Bagman's just seemed a little bit more shady, right? Maybe that was just me reading it.
I think he's just so like energized and like excited that he's just too much for Harry to like trust in a way.
Yeah.
Like, let me tell you.
I
You want me to tell
interpreted
you?
it kind of like pleasant. Like, he was excited, kind of eager, reliving his own glory days, even though it was Quidditch, a little different. But like, he just loves the energy. He's all excited. Harry, you need some help, because he probably thought of a solution and he's just excited about it.
I wonder if it would have been the same since he was a Quidditch player too.
It
right?
honestly could have been. Maybe he would have referenced that right away. But I love that he lowered his voice conspiratorially.
Yeah.
I'm like, that sounds a little shady, but it also feels like he's on Harry's side. Like, he's showing some favoritism towards Harry. Either that, or he was trying to sabotage him, and Harry dodged a bullet with this one. But Harry denied him. So
I
we'll never
liked
know.
your way of like, just tell me what it is. I'm still gonna stick to what I'm doing.
No downside.
Yeah.
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 Yep.
Okay. I'm just going to throw this out there. There is possibly one downside, that Bagman is the one that wants Harry killed.
Yes. So if he listens, it potentially lets Bagman get in his head in some way. Yeah.
Yep. So like he's able to take advantage of Harry in this instance. And then the next task, even if maybe Bagman's
then he would listen
responsibility
to him
is
the
to get
next time.
here. So maybe he's like, Harry, say this spell, and it makes the dragon even angrier, and like it releases all the fury of the dragon. So the dragon just comes and kills him or something like that. Because I don't care if you have
Is that what
100
Harry's thinking? You would think.
I don't think that Harry's necessarily thinking that. Bagman seems like a likable character, so maybe
Yeah, he's on my list though. Of,
yeah, for sure.
leery people.
Because we've liked people before and they've betrayed us, you know, in these books. She's very good at that.
Fickle characters.
Yeah, for sure. So there's a possibility. Other than that, like, Harry should take this advice, and Harry, I think, has enough wisdom to know whether it's going to be good advice or bad advice, or whether he'd follow it or not. But if Bagman really is the one that wants Harry dead, then he shouldn't take this advice at all. He shouldn't. Harry did exactly what he should have done, which is, no, I'm okay.
And I don't expect that Voldemort's got some grand plan for the first thing. I feel like whatever this trap is, I'm thinking of it as a trap, not trying to kill Harry. If it is a trap, I'm thinking that would come up in the third one. So even if Bagman gave him good advice and helped him get through, it might have just been to build his confidence and a trust between them. So Harry makes it to the round 2. And then round 2, Bagman can do it again. And then all of a sudden they're a team. And then round 3 is where it's a curveball.
Yeah.
And then that's when Harry's most vulnerable, because he just trusted someone he shouldn't. So either way, not a bad thing. Now that Harry made it through, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But if his summoning charm didn't work and he didn't get the broom, he would have had nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
Did he have a backup plan at all?
No.
Would have been nice if Bagman gave him like a plan B. So better than death. Or maybe he did and we just didn't hear about it. He did walk around the lake 3 times after all.
Yeah.
So maybe him and Hermione came up with some other plans. But
It's a great point.
also I love that he left the Great Hall with Professor McGonagall and she didn't seem herself. She looked nearly as anxious as Hermione. She had a lot of money riding on this.
Yes.
You guys, I like to think she was worried about Harry.
I was like getting her to go like, oh yeah, she really loves him. And then he's like, she had a lot of money on this bet.
And it comes up again because when they're talking about it, I think it was maybe after it was all said and done, Bagman said something about the odds, that Harry's odds, confirming it. So I'm like,
Yep.
let me go find that at the end of the chapter.
He said the odds on Harry will be a lot less now or something like that.
I do
because
remember that.
He did really well in this task. Or when he was flying.
Oh,
But
I
you're
think it was
taking
toward the
that as
very
a
end.
bet? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
poor McGonagall.
There is how do you think there's betting that's happening?
This is going to shorten the
Oh, yeah.
odds on
There's gotta
Mr.
be.
Potter.
Okay.
Why else have odds if there's
Yeah.
not betting?
So
Why
do you think
can't it
there's
be
a
a
bunch of
winner?
adult wizards betting on these children to
That's
see who's going to
horrible,
win?
but
That
absolutely.
is horrible, and they definitely are. Yep, you're right. Because these two would be.
Yes, they'd be right in with it.
How much money do you think Fred and George are betting on this tournament right now?
You're right. They use their aging
I was
thing.
gonna say,
It couldn't
well,
pass
did
the
they
age
bet their
line, but they
winnings
can at
from-
least go in.
Yeah.
From,
Oh, the
Quidditch match?
The Quidditch. Oh,
Yeah,
you're
seriously.
right.
Yeah.
And they're pretty good, I guess.
They went double or nothing on Harry winning the Triwizard tournament.
They're definitely in on that.
That's
Wow.
pretty
Yeah, that's interesting, but maybe it sounds like it. It really does.
Any other thoughts on this chapter? Besides Harry, is Harry your favorite person who went about getting past the dragons? Who's the next favorite?
Oh, let me look at what they
We,
did.
Yeah.
Again.
we don't know exactly what they did, but
Crumb
Cedric.
did. Oh yeah, you could say.
So Crumb did a spell right in the eye, and it knocked the dragon over, crushed some of the eggs, but he still got it. Floor tried to put the dragon to sleep somehow, and it
It
kind
did
of
go
worked.
to sleep, but then it snored.
Yeah,
and the
snored
fire
and
came out.
Oh, that's
a little
right.
jet of fire came out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Cedric sacrificed a Labrador. Rest in peace.
No, it didn't eat
Labrador.
it. Stop.
So dramatic.
Because it went back for Cedric.
Yeah, that's true. Halfway through, it changed his mind. So Cedric starts transforming every rock into a Labrador.
Yeah, whole army of dogs just running.
The one thing I
wouldn't be a
didn't
bad idea.
understand though is that Floor shouldn't have been able to lull the dragon, right? Because they were saying I thought you needed a ton of wizards to do that. So that made me think of her wand with the Vila hair.
Oh, wow. That's a great point. The Vila naturally woos people in trances. So maybe because she has that wand, she's actually able to do more advanced magic
that's a
and
great
wooing
point.
people. And oh my gosh. I'm like writing this down. Bring this up on the subreddit. See if any fans have theories about this.
Is that what you're doing? You're
Yeah,
typing.
literally. I'm taking notes on certain things. Yeah, you guys had some good stuff this podcast. Yeah, anything else that you guys saw on this?
I like the chapter a lot.
Yeah.
It was
These
really...
are really good ones.
I like when Hermione said they were both stupid.
Oh, this is one of my
It's just
favorite
like she had a
lines.
good one-liner, and I was just like, "Oh yes!" It was like funny, but like meant something. I was like,
just
yeah,
about to
Hermione.
read that. Oh, the whole
So
entire
good.
interaction. Ron goes, Harry. He said very seriously, "Whoever put your name in that goblet, I reckon they're trying to do you in." It was as though the last few weeks had never happened, as though Harry was meeting Ron for the first time, right after he'd been made champion. Ron grinned nervously at him, and Harry grinned back. Hermione burst into tears. "There's nothing to cry about," Harry told her, bewildered. "You two are so stupid." I love that so much.
And then she
Hermione
runs off
Yeah.
crying, and Ron's like barking mad. I can just
know.
picture him saying it. It's so great.
I do love Ron's defense of when Karkaroff gives him a bad score and he goes, he's livid at him. I'm like, he finally gets his friend back fighting on his side. I love that.
And Harry loved it more than the... He could have given me a
Yeah.
0 and I would have
Yeah.
been happy
Yep.
with...
And I love that now everyone was cheering for Harry. Maybe not the Slytherins, but Hogwarts was uniting here.
Yes.
And cheering for Harry and Cedric.
Yes.
Which is great.
Love that. Love some good unification over the Hogwarts champions.
I'll say this. Tied for first. Almost kind of nice.
Yeah.
Could have given him 3 and put Crumb in the lead. maybe that's where he drew the line and said, all right, I'll give him 4. That way they're tied for first. That's reasonable. But Karkaroff could have given him a 3 and made Crumb the leader at this point. So I don't know if that means anything.
In your mind, it does.
Well, let me see. Was he the
that's
last one?
You with your numbers.
Crumb was the final person, right?
No, Harry was the final.
Or sorry, Karkaroff was the final
judge
to give the numbers. Yeah. So he really did have all the power at that point. And he made the decision to give him a tie for first.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that means anything. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, could even be bad, because if Karkaroff already knows some stuff that's coming up in future challenges, maybe your placement on one challenge determines where you go in another challenge. So maybe he wanted Harry to get a certain position.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's something to be wary of, though, I guess.
Yeah. But now wait until February for the next challenge.
I know. Agony. And the clue is in the egg, so we're going to try to figure out what's going on in this egg, what the clue actually
Wait, what's the time frame for where they are now to February 24th?
This is November. I forget what day in November, though.
Let's just say it's November, the day we're recording right now. We're in November. And then we're not going to get till the next task till February, guys. Our reading has to really slow. I'm just kidding.
Jen's gonna murder you in your sleep.
Pig's giving me the death look. I will not do that. We're going home and we're reading the next few chapters.
And I love that Harry got his mic drop moment with Rita Skeeter.
Yeah.
Oh,
When
yes.
he said goodbye.
Nope.
Yes.
That
Goodbye.
was so good.
That was amazing.
She's going to turn that into something.
Yes, you can have a word,
Exactly.
Harry said savagely. Goodbye.
Love it. This is so random, but I got to get my own copy of Men Who Love Dragons Too Much.
Is that one of the books they read?
Yes. There was like
awesome.
a short little sentence. I don't know why that grabbed my
That is
attention, but I
really
was
funny.
like,
It's a great book title.
got to get my own copy of
Man,
that.
who is Hagrid on that list?
Oh, he probably
Seeing
wrote
that
it.
book.
right.
I also love, Harry kind of was talking about how much he loved Hogwarts. And he was like, this was the first time that I didn't he say something about the first time he wasn't like thrilled about Hogwarts? But I was like, it's not actually Hogwarts. It's Ron.
Yeah.
You know, he's like,
nice.
he's making the connection in his mind that he loves Hogwarts, but
Yeah.
it's the people.
He has a line in there that helps him. He thinks of Dudley and he thinks he would rather deal with a dragon than have to go home to the Dursleys, which is profound and sad.
Yeah.
That would rather literally sit with dread in his stomach and deal with a dragon than he would rather go home with the Dursleys and live miserably.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Dursleys really did a number on him.
Yeah.
I like that the other champions were also scared too.
Yes.
Like that felt like a big moment because bless you. Because up until that point, I think I pictured the other champions as being a little more solid. But even when it went through the list, they were each showing fear and nervousness in their own way. And then I was like, all right, good. It's a bit more of an even playing field. Yeah. That's a reasonable response that they would all be nervous, which I felt like that was good.
Yeah. They're
Puts
like
Harry
human.
a little more up to their level.
I just can't get over these are kids.
I know.
I know.
And they're like, okay, guys, let's test your skills. And you can almost die, or pretty much you can't. Oh, no, you can die because that's happened.
Yeah.
And they have no
Nesting,
signing
mothering
consent that
Nursing
they're.
dragons. Yeah.
I wonder if there's... No, with Wizarding, it seems opposite. I was thinking about the Olympics because you hit your physical prime for some of these sports so young.
Yeah.
But for Wizards, I feel like you hit your prime way later.
Like a
runners hit their
Dumbledore.
prime in like late 30s or 40s. You marathon runners, not sprinters. And so maybe there's something about that for Wizards, but it's even later.
You see like
is there an element of that to high school?
There's like the skateboarding gold medals, and like there were like 11, 12, and 13-year-olds winning gold medals
Absolutely
for
nuts.
skateboarding.
Well,
and
they're,
like
yeah.
it was insane this past
Like,
Olympics.
that makes sense.
Like some little Brazilian, I think, skateboarder just won gold medal for something absolutely insane. Even like some Americans are winning like snowboarding medals. Like Chloe
that
Kim
young-
was like
I can't
15,
remember.
16 when she won her first gold medal in the Olympics. I'm like, that's insane. So maybe it is. Maybe your magical, I don't think, I feel like your magical prime is like Dumbledore's age.
Yeah, you have to
I feel like the
really
older that
age
you
into
get,
it.
yeah.
Because it
The
does seem
longer the
absurd
beard.
to do it so young. But
That's where all the magic is.
Yeah. That's where he stores it. That's
You're
fascinating.
close.
I'm growing.
Yeah. You just got to keep growing it. Then when we go, you got to dye it white, and then we'll go as cosplay to
building my wizard costume right now, slowly.
Yeah, at the rate we're going, you'll have a long beard out and about.
Oh, I'm never gonna live this down. Okay, we'll wrap this one up then, Jen, so you can read after. You can go home and read. Anybody besides Harry that you would give the house cup award to? Hermione, maybe. Moody, maybe. Any other characters in these 2 chapters? Maybe Hagrid for showing Harry.
Yeah, I mean, those are the only ones that would be in the running. You know, Sirius for talking at the fire and stuff. But I feel like it kind of has to be Harry. Hagrid did show him the dragons. That let him prepare.
If Harry doesn't get it for literally defeating a dragon.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
That's like our thought process.
The work. You know?
Yeah.
I think you're right. It's got to be him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got to get it.
Yeah. And then, I mean, it's just 2 chapters and it's like pretty much one task. But what is your favorite moment in these 2 chapters?
Harry and Ron being friends again, I think.
Yeah.
The defeat of the dragon was great too, but I was more emotional at the Harry and Ron reuniting.
Tearing up like Hermione.
No, I didn't tear up, but I could have if I was in a different mood, probably.
Have you guys teared up yet at these books? Or gotten emotional?
Oh, yeah. When was it, though? I texted
so.
the group. It was in the beginning.
That was a while. That was like one of the beginning ones. I can't wait to talk about, like, later on, everyone who's read them, there's parts that you cry at 4, 5, 6, and 7. And everyone has a different part they kind of tear up at or cry at.
Great.
My brother has a part that he cries at, and I never thought of this for anything, but he was like, that one hit me. And I was like, yeah, it's so good. Such a good part. I'm like, I like it.
You're going to make us read this so you can record us crying. So I can't wait.
Yes. I gotta throw that question out on Reddit. What part made you tear up or cry?
I thought you were going to ask them what part you want us to read to tear up and cry.
Oh, don't worry. They're going to all... Oh, yeah. Place bets just like McGonagall. Guys, you are giving me so many notes to make on our subreddit right now. This is great. Anyway, Kristen, Jen, do you have a favorite moment in these chapters?
Well, I agree with what Danny said, but because of what I love to do, when Sirius is giving information about Kakarov and Bertha Jorkins, the background, I love that stuff because then I could piece things together.
Yeah.
It's short, but
it was so good. There's so much in there.
And then Harry is like you were saying, spilling his guts finally. Like, just let it go.
I know.
Right.
Finally.
Open up. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to agree with you, Danny. The reconciliation of Harry and Ron. It was like, oh, finally. Like a weight was lifted.
That was like Hermione's reaction, probably.
Yes. I was like, yes.
Finally.
So stupid.
You guys are so stupid. I think that's my favorite part too, when Hermione just goes, you two are so stupid. Just runs away. Oh, that's so great. Oh, such a great 2 chapters. And then we get to read more. So.
And even when when Ron is like, yours was the best out of all like 4 of them.
Yeah.
Like, this is what they did, but yours is the best. Like, I thought that was
such a pure
great,
moment.
like, yeah.
Good friendship again.
I'm wondering when it changed for Ron, when he saw it was dragons, or was there a moment during the actual competition?
Or when he almost got hurt, when he got hurt.
When he actually saw Harry come out, or when he got actually cut.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like there was a change when he came down the stairs.
Yeah, honestly, I was going to say
With
that.
Sirius?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Because it was almost like I felt defeat in him. And it was like the fight kind of was gone.
Doesn't Harry throw the button at him or something?
Oh my gosh,
Harry was being like next level.
Harry wanted to fight.
Right. He was like making it
come on,
worse.
read the situation, child.
But Ron was very like self-controlled in that moment. It felt like it could have escalated. But it didn't.
Right.
Because Harry walked by him thinking that Ron was going to punch him, and he didn't.
Right.
I know.
Right.
But he throws the button or whatever and says, now you have a scar like me, just what you wanted or something. Like, oh my gosh. It's so good.
Oh my
Colorful
Rough
words
lines.
from him right
Hey,
now.
that's what I predicted too. Since you use that.
It was also really cute that the Creevy brothers were trying to charm the
know.
buttons and change the.
Oh, that
Yeah.
was really
When you
cute.
brought them up before, I was like, yeah, Harry, you should have befriended them.
I know. They're
No.
truly
They would
have
great
been-
people.
yeah.
I love them
They
so
had
much.
his back at that point. Because
Yep.
they were the only two, right?
Exactly.
Literally the only two people in like the whole school.
Yeah.
That,
Aw.
I know I was bad-mouthing Colin when he first showed up, but I take all that back.
This is a pro Colin podcast. We love Colin Creevy. And Dennis is his younger brother. Pro Creevy podcast.
Indeed.
Thanks for joining us on our journey of Harry Potter and the First Time Readers. You guys give me so much good information right now. I can't wait to re-listen to this
Popping up.
and then throw everything on Reddit. I was literally typing up stuff I'm throwing on Reddit as you guys are speaking.
Oh, actually putting it on Reddit. Yeah.
Can't
You
wait.
were?
So
Because
good.
I just can't wait for some of this stuff. You guys say stuff and I'm like, yep, I need to put this on Reddit right now because I need answers.
Yeah, find out
Right
that
now.
wand thing.